away, so we won't hold it any longer. Devin the Guzzler to get you underway.
Wow, lucky me to cast with the Guzzler. That was the most vigorous throw I've ever heard from Rob. He must have been listening to some of your throws to breaks, Guz, from last game.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly taken inspiration from the best. So, yeah, very happy to have inspired that. And talking about inspiration, I think we're going to have to see something very special from Rival tonight. Sure, Fury not at the peak of their powers heading into this particular play day, but they historically have been so strong in VO3s, and this veto has been rather favourable for them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about who's favoured in this matchup. It should be a Fury win. It should be an open and shut case. But the big question on everyone's minds, what Fury is going to show up? Because Fury have historically been the best or second best team in this region for the last year and a half. And it was only this stage that we finally saw them drop off, go through that 4-game loss streak, which they finally got back on top of. Can they bounce back moving into the playoffs and keep their dream of going to that major alive? Of course, it starts here in the quarterfinals. Map 1, Fury's pick, it's Nighthaven Labs.
So we haven't seen a map tonight with either Shield available. The Monty or the Blitz has been banned out in every map thus far, and there's every chance we see it again here if Fury doesn't want to play into the Blitz.
Oh,
well, they may well want to. Ying taken off the board, another very strong execute operator. Now, defensively, the anticipation is probably the Miravalk combo, and there is one of the two. Interestingly enough, his army, again, does have the highest presence globally, but not frequently banned out, probably doesn't quite warrant a ban in her current state, whereas the Mirror, for instance, is really powerful in locking down both basement and the top floor, the two primary sites here. And even though Rival are starting out a defense, I highly doubt that they will want to let that operator through, although they actually will. Here's the Tubarão instead. We saw a surprisingly lackluster amount of Tubarão play in the previous series tonight. I was expecting to see it maybe a little bit more, but yeah, certainly can pose problems for the attack. You think about IT breach, basement primary breaches, etc. So yeah, won't play a part in this match, and so we'll see how that changes, how this plays out. Fury, despite being favourites, they are starting on attack, and so they will need to set the pace of this match.
And in terms of that Tubarão ban, there Guz, Nighthaven tends to be one of the more hard breach-centric maps in the pool alongside those like Clubhouse. We've seen a lot of teams outright win, especially on that top floor bomb site, just by having good Bandit and Kaid and Tubarão players. So I'm not surprised that Rival wants to get rid of that. It shows that maybe they struggle a little bit with hard breach, but of course Maverick's through. So any good team will be able to maximize their hard breach ability with that Maverick. Of course, the way I look at this is Fury, for their last 4 matches in a row, have just banned Ying Valkyrie. Doesn't matter who they're playing, doesn't matter where they're playing. That's 4 different maps, 4 different opponents. They always ban Ying Valkyrie. So this is quite predictable from Fury. It's really Rival's chance to dictate the bans. And most teams actually ban the Blitz, funnily enough, against Fury. Their last 3 matches in a row, it's been the case. But every now and then we see those Monty bans sprinkled in. There are blitzes immediately taken here in this first round, alongside that Maverick, alongside the Ace, so we've got quite a bit of hard breach ability here. And like you said, Fury are the ones that get to dictate this pace, and we have very high expectations from them as well.
So then how can Rival look to try and find an edge in this particular game? We do see the Pulse employed here in the opening round, over towards basement, funnily enough, from Azuki. Garnering information from the safety of Assembly. There is Double Nitro in play for defense, and that could be a good counter tool onto the likes of the Blitz, especially, which could pose problems for the defense in a more, front-on defensive style. As you can see, Azuki currently gaining information on Crit J. If he's able to piece one and one together, he will probably anticipate that it is a vert player of the Buck to maybe disrupt from below. Although Crit J now actually rotating over towards Cafeteria. In the meanwhile, Blake Holes has got a good ground now in through Con. Blitz is a really powerful tool in helping flush out this electrical position. So we'll see if Blake Holes finds success.
Info peek, he knows exactly who he's going up against, Jackie Wu. Goo Mines can continue to be popped on out. We really don't have many impact grenades, or any impact grenades rather. We just got the 2 C4s. Azuki's tempted to use it. Where is he? Down below, I'm guessing, on that pulse? Yeah, he is. He's just blown his C4, I believe, on the breach, did he? What did he do there? Honestly, I'm genuinely bamboozled, guys. Like, where on earth did Azuki just toss it and waste his C4?
Good question. Unfortunately, I looked away at a spreadsheet for about 3 seconds whilst I think that happened. So,
unlucky,
unfortunately, I got timed, so I don't know. But certainly didn't have an impact, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, the siege timing. All right. Well, Fury immediately lose the opening engagement here as Azuki finds his pick roaming downstairs, and I'm not sure exactly how BG Man died, but it's a bit of a devastating one to lose. I mean, where's the pressure from IT? We still have that breach solid, I believe, or at least well plugged and well held on to by Hyunjin on that Azami. Aggressive and desperate from Lycolis. I mean, just swinging on inside as the Blitz ADSing is never going to have success. Scarlet's down on the ground and likely to be finished off here by that nade. But Dark has a whole massive task ahead of him. He actually might have seen the feet there of that player prone on the ground. Technically winnable, but effectively a lost cause here for Fury. And a good crossfire, double peek there. And easy opening round there for Rival. Pretty cut and dried, to be honest. Fury looked pretty poor on that attack, to be frank.
No, totally. Not particularly inspiring. And I think momentum and the mental game actually could play a rather large factor in this match. Sure, Fury are seasoned veterans, they have a lot of best-of-3 experience, but I can't help but feel that shaking the rough stage they've had so far could be a challenge. And Rival certainly can be momentum-based. They're a team that get very animated when they're playing well, and that positivity, I think, serves them very, very well. So if they get off to a good, confident start here and can compound a bit of pressure, I'm still not 100% sure if Fury will have that mental fortitude with what's on the line and the pressure, etc. Especially when you consider that it is their map pick as well. So if things do start to become a bit of a struggle, even if it is on the attacking half, it could pose problems. I think that's obviously we're clutching at straws a little bit to try and make a case for Rival, but I still genuinely think there is an opportunity here for them to maybe pose a threat in this particular series, but have to keep that foot on the gas. I think if there's a couple of rounds here or there that go the way of Fury in a convincing fashion, that could unravel pretty quickly. So they have to keep this pressure up. First round, though, had a lot of positive signs going the way of Rival.
Yeah, positive signs going the way of Rival, but I'm also going to say, I hate to be negative, but it feels like we're seeing a little bit more of the Fury we've seen in those matches that they lost, the 4 matches they lost this stage, rather than the Fury of old that we know and love. And nothing on paper has changed. No players have changed. They haven't decided to drastically, completely revamp the way that they play Rainbow Six. There's been no massive meta-defining change that has caused Fury to just no longer be able to keep up with the times. And yet, they're looking to execute just by having their blitz ADS and swing a doorway instead of having like a clear plan. And that's the red flag for me. And yeah, definitely a light at the end of the tunnel for Rival. Of course, very early days, we're just 1 round in. And now Fury have a chance to demonstrate how good they are at roam clearing here on Nighthaven.
Yeah, the Jackal brought here, and Scarlet's immediately under pressure. Will he elect to hold top blue or instead rotate off? Well, he kind of contemplates both. As you can see, reinforcements on the extension here does offer a bit of safety for that defense to peel back, so that's some good foresight there strategically from Rival. Does mean, though, that top 4 has been forfeited, but it has taken actually a pretty large chunk of the round. Doesn't feel like the round's been going on for all that long, but we are already at the minute 30 mark. Fury will identify that pretty quickly and look to speed this along. They do have the Buck and the Ram combination, so getting some vertical control and pressure here is key.
I wonder what Azuki's going to be able to achieve here on the stairs, especially if he can just call for Hyunjin on that C4 as well. Hope that someone goes and walks near that hatch. Realistically here, Azuki doesn't even have to peek to take a fight. He can just peek for info, and wow, that's a massive C4 from Scarlet. Lycolis completely taken out, and Dark injured. That's huge.
Yeah, and that wasn't being fed from information, I don't believe, unless they caught a drone on the Mozzie. May have just been another sort of staircase call that we sort of thought towards that vending setup.
Yeah, I don't see any drones hacked on the overlay. Usually it comes up in that little white 0 underneath the gadget or next to the gadget. 30 seconds to play. And guys, this looks, again, not great here from Fury. I mean, when it comes down to the late round, we still have 3 C4s up for Planthenile as well.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough. I think Fury need to try and go deep with picks, but that's much easier said than done.
Especially with Scarlet here, tucked around the corner. He could be the round-defining player. I9's the one with Diffuser, and he's outside the breach here. Songlar's found one. Scarlet can go for the swing, diffuse it down. The round has been won by Rival. There's nothing Dark can do. The 1v3, it's just an easy lockout there for Azuki. Another solid and, to be honest, convincing round to kick us off for Rival.
Yeah, very one-sided. These are incredibly lopsided rounds thus far. Rival have, I think, a really good read on Fury, who have continued to play their old ways, and it's just not translating particularly well here in the first couple of rounds. Top floor clear was okay, but then we saw things stagnate a little bit throughout that first floor. It opened up the opportunity, the way they were sort of trying to deathball first floor, but quite slowly for the Nitro Cells to be really impactful. Eventually then we did see a bit of work on Vert, but at that point Rival had already been able to fortify site, play rat positions, put the clear, no time to really drone them out, and then we saw that round-defining play over towards the breach, which ultimately probably wasn't even necessary because the rest of the defense in the backline also was able to hold firm. So yeah, the opening start on the primary sites from Rival, very strong. As is always the case though, the tertiary can be quite defining and can certainly change the complexion of a match. So we need to see that kind of success on the tertiary site here, over towards storage, before we can really and definitively say that Rival are in with a real shout during the opening map.
Yeah, thing is though, guys, right, like, those first 2 rounds were not close at all, like, and it didn't look like Fury had a clear idea of what they were going to do and it just failed because of one linchpin moment. They just looked like a little bit lost overall. And so, I'm starting to fear, especially if Rival make a full circuit here, if they win this bomb site, that's 3 in a row, 3 different bomb sites. If Fury go back, attacking the top floor, I don't know what they're doing on that side. I can imagine it'll quickly be a 4-row lead. And then, I don't know, I feel like on Fury's map pick, I'm just not seeing many good signs.
It would be a pretty wild storyline if Fury to get knocked out in this game though. A team that really, by all metrics, should be competing for a spot at the major. They should be making it to the grand final, and in an ideal world, at playing at their very best, I still believe they can be competitive against Bleed, but we just haven't really seen it at this stage. And, I mean, even in the interviews, like Halls has been saying that they've been having a lot of chats and trying to diagnose what's going wrong, but unfortunately for them, a stage is pretty compact, and so even if you are able to identify those issues, it's one thing, correcting them is entirely different. Maybe the shield meta isn't particularly favorable for them. Maybe they're struggling with the current map pool. Losing Oregon could have been quite costly for them. But either way, teams like Bleed have shown that adaptation is key. They've been able to pull it off, and Fury still finding themselves lagging behind.
Fury have ended up in 2nd place every single stage since we had the Blast R6 Asia League introduced. So for the fact that they are not, like you said, competing with Bleed, but they're not even competing with the upper middle pack. Like, they're struggling against Rival, the 4th place or 5th place team here in the league. Now, as we look into this attack, I mean, at least for Fury, we don't have an early death, but still, Rival haven't felt too much pressure as of yet. Fury at least are putting a little bit more focus on the IT breach and the rafters compared to last time, which I like. And here comes an aggressive push. There we go from BG Man. Nice entry. The first time Fury find that opening pick, and they, from the looks of it, have top floor control with 50 seconds to pivot.
Yeah, much better pinch over towards that top floor, and you can see the vast amount of vert that's now available for them to try and pressure site itself. Injin, though, is able to retaliate, and like Hollis will drop the diffuser outside. Injin probably doesn't know that, and as you can see, he's in a very exposed position now and will likely die. And so that's a decent trade from Fury. 20 seconds on the clock, and they at least have the advantage and the diffuser critically in the hands of BG Man.
Oh, big question is, where is Azuki on that Solus? He's using his gadget to try and check at the moment where the plant's going down, and he is indeed below. He's waiting. This BG Man has to go for this plant very soon, but this is going to be an easy plant denial from Azuki. It allows Jackie Wu to take the fight. Now they know the diffuser's on the ground. Jackie Wu's found a final kill here for Fury, but it's not going to be enough. Azuki is still below, and they could not recollect that diffuser. Rival have just made a rotation 3 rounds straight.
And that's a sign of a team that really understands that site quite well defensively. Storage offers so many opportunities for both teams ultimately to exploit above, but also what we see lesser of below as well. Solis, despite being heavily nerfed in the last couple of patches, can still have flashes of brilliance like that, and we saw the information facilitate a really good, well-timed plant denial. And because Fury spent so much time clearing top floor, trying to get the diffuser down on 2 different occasions, they simply couldn't recollect it, and even if they could, it probably would have been denied again, depending on how much time was left anyway. So, yeah, really good work, PG Man there, as you can see, forced off the plant. Jackie Wu went nuts. There's some phenomenal play from him. And all of it off the back of the Solis lurking down below, which Fury did not account for.
Yeah. Yeah, man, like, I don't know, I feel like, guys, that's pretty fundamental of playing that bomb site. You obviously clear the top floor so you can't be denied from above, but you got to clear the bottom floor, or at least have a drone down there, or have a player lurking. You can just set one player outside the tank breach and get them to lurk late round, because, yeah, even if in the 4v2 the Solis finds the 1 pick, they're going to get traded by that lurker, and then you go for a reattempt on the plant, and you force Jackie Wu to over-aggress and you take him down. Fury just... yeah, put all their eggs in one basket and forgot about one of the most fundamental elements of attacking that bomb site.
Well, things now starting to get seriously concerning for Fury. Back of losing the tertiary site, and again, like all the other objectives, it was convincing. That landed right, yeah, okay. I almost thought Azuki got the other wall, the wrong wall. So again, another fundamental mistake, right? Like, no pressure below on a potential bandit check. That's IT wall 101. And that's a kind of mistake or oversight that we would typically see from a team placed in the bottom half of the standing.
Yeah,
we see it now, but it's already too late.
Fury are, but yeah, I mean, this just doesn't look like Fury. It really doesn't. It's not that Fury don't know how to play this site, don't know how to play this game. They know full well how to, and yet for some reason it's not happening.
Oh, they got it that time around. A couple of impact amps and the pressure down below, forcing Azuki off breach. But again, midway point of the round, and Fury only have one thing off the checklist of about 4 or 5 different major checkpoints of this site ticked off. They need to try and get some presence over towards Con. They at least have that now, so that's alright. But Electrical still being held, and the peak before the Blitz.
Yeah, the timing a bit poor there from Dark, unfortunately. A really nice shot there from Jackie Wu. By the way, phenomenal start already. Former Direwolves player looking very hot here on Rival. Azuki's also ratting right next to that breach and likely to find a kill. There's a mute jammer on that door as well, so that Blitz is not going to be able to use his gadget. As finally BG Man finds one. A double from BG! That's everything that Fury needed. One player to just pop off. Critch support from outside as well. Now Songlar reveals his position, unfortunately, spraying with that SMG-11. Another big kill for BG Man, all up to Azuki. And his little cheeky spot in the corner is found out. Finally, the first round on the board for Fury.
Yeah, finally Fury able to find something off the back of an individual play to open up the round. If it wasn't for that play, though, again, they didn't look like they're in the best of spots. The Blitz wasn't really in a position to play make. Sure, some of the hard breach components elsewhere are actually quite strong, but don't know if they would have necessarily been able to unlock the site. But yeah, BG Man with the double over towards IT. Sent it forward. I suppose the cross wasn't being held correctly there, or maybe there's a bit of mistiming, bit of a mismatch from Rival. And to the credit of Fury, if there are mistakes, big mistakes made by their opposition, they will typically be able to exploit that. A testament to Rival, who over the course of the first 3 rounds, actually, their mistake minimization was really, really good. So in that last round, though, allowing that player forward was, yeah, certainly a bit of an error. We'll see how they go here. Now back down on basement.
Yeah, I wouldn't sweat too much if you're Rival. Real good shot on this basement defense. They looked really solid before with a lot of C4s. They're running more or less that same lineup. We have a few changes. No more smoke. We've got that Goyo instead. Lesion No Kapkan this time. Still 3 C4s, which is very solid. I want to see Fury make good timing here when it comes to that breach game. When it comes to the roam clear as well. It does look like a bit of an extended roam. The timing was almost on the money there for Jackie Wu.
Let's see how long Jackie Wu is able to hold above, how long he wants to hold inside of server. Typically, it will be a fall-off position, especially for base defense. There's Crit J able to drop Scarlet. So does Jackie Wu double down? Might be the case here. Try and take one with him as he drops down the hatch. Unable to find that pick though.
Jackie should be happy with that though. He gets away with his life. Doesn't even take any HP damage. Does a little bit onto Dark. He's tempted to try and hold on to this position for a little bit longer. He needs to be careful not to be caught out from that window. He's lucky not to get sprayed, and here come the Jackal pings. He needs to get back alive. Crosses safely. Often teams will have a defender play on these stairs as long as possible to just continually shoot drones. There's also that bulletproof camera they could use to enable a C4. Neither of which are deployed as of yet.
Minute 30. And this is in a typical Fury round where things sometimes be overlooked, mistakes sometimes made. Well, the Nitro Cell game, we talked about it. Again, it reaps rewards here for Rival. Just one more remaining though for Azuki, and he's inside of Cafeteria currently. Also back towards the basement. The exterior walls have been worked by Fury, so they have options available. Either go for a default plant single wall or exploit something over towards double. So Fury have quite a few different opportunities and routes towards the objective now open, and it's up to the shot calls of the team to decide which one they want to go for.
There's also this roam flank. He needs to win that fight. Azuki does. This is why he's one of the best players in the region, like Colas, forced to take the trade, and he wins that fight out. Even numbers once again now, as Fury poised for this execute.
Reloading, cover me.
20 seconds then. Songler over towards Animus in quite an aggro position. Could feed information now that the rest of the team is rotating over towards that double wall.
15 seconds remaining.
And we still have a player above. He's forced to have an impact as Lycolis, as Songla needs to get around it. He's got one impact to try and get aggressive with. BG Man forcing that plant. I9 to cover, but he loses his fight. Now this is where Lycolis has to come up clutch as the plant goes down, and BG Man immediately off the back of it punishes Hinjin all up to Jackie Wu. Low HP and no impact to finish off what's left of BG Man. No Nitro to speak of either. A nigh impossible post-plant position. Despite being one of the solidest players for Rivals so far, I think he might have to call this one a day. BG Man still holding his position, but Lycolis is watching it from above. The pressure is there, the time is dwindling. BG Man getting aggressive, loses his fight. There is still time here for Jackie Wu to win this, but he needs to get this kill in the next 3 seconds. There's no time, he has to stick it now, he has to hold on. Lycolis should be able to confirm this kill. Lycolis! Lycolis! Come on! Finally! Holy shambles, Lycolis! Don't make me sweat like that!
Look at his reaction on the player cam though. He doesn't look like a man who almost threw the round. That was really scary.
I'm still recovering from that.
look, the plant set up there from Fury looked far more structured and well calculated than we saw previously. Even the fight main breach to EXO that we were spectating was still a favourable fight for Fury. They lost it out, and even despite that, we're still able to then get the plant down and hold it onto it in the post. I think it was BG that went for the plant, right? He did a really good job in then being able to get gun up immediately and hit that trade. Otherwise, it probably would have flipped in its ultimate result. So it was good work. Yeah, this fight here, I know, pretty unfortunate to lose it. BG Man, though, immediately was then able to find the trade, wasted a decent amount of time against Jackie Wu, and then, like Cole's up above, able to confirm the round. So, much better work there from Fury on that particular occasion. Now reached the 2-round benchmark if we want to set it there. Although it is their map pick, so I think it's probably fair to say 3 rounds would be a little bit more of a realistic goal for them heading into this particular map. And so we'll see if they're able to reach that.
Yeah. Oh, 3-3 half, considering how rough Fury looked at the start in the first 3 rounds, would be very solid. I wouldn't scoff at that. 2 primary bomb site wins in a row. Rival go back to their tertiary. This one, Fury really should have won, guys. They just fumbled in the, I believe it was a 4 versus 2. Didn't realize that Solus was below. Azuki managed to deny that plant, and Jackie Wu found a few on site before being traded. Well, Fury hopefully have learned from their mistakes of last time around. What is this aggressive peak? Scarlet, just be careful there.
So there's Zofia in play here for the 6th round. Can aid in some of that util clearance. The biggest question for me is how Fury account for, or if they elect to account for the Solus in this particular round. Azuki is currently in electrical though this time, so playing from up above. Jay pretty eager to get control above. Get those boogie auto breaches to work, although now rotates off. Lycola's maybe trying to find a position to exploit in through warehouse and go for a more direct hit.
Oh, here comes the info. Well, it does spot it though. Able to shoot out the boogie.
Oh,
Very
Fury
hard hold.
they haven't really been able to disrupt the hold. There's only 70 seconds to go now.
There's still 4 players on this top floor. Wall's not breached. All 5? I swear I saw all 5 players on that top floor for a second. Yeah, every single bloody player here from Rival on the top floor. Bomb side is down in control room. Oh, Fury finally start to make their way forward. Critchay needs to have an impact here. That swing needed to win. There for Songla. And Dark finds his fight. This is where the collapse starts to come through. But Rival have more players stacked upstairs, and Fury just did not expect those repeaks, those refrags. Now desperately, Lycolis and I9 have to try and piece this together. But thankfully, the one player that was killed is the Solus. That's the one guy that can confirm where that plant's going down. So it might, in theory, be possible to spite the Vert and look for a plant spot here. But it's incredibly dangerous for Fury, and you can see it. As Lycolis feels that pressure palpably, looking through these vertical lines of sight. He wants to make his move. He needs to wait for I9 to come support him. And he's got to worry not only about the vertical pressure, but 2 players have now looked laterally and tried to push him. I9 far too late and just way out of position. Easy kill for Songlar, and that's going to be a second one now for Jackie Wu. Round done and dusted. Rival locking out that half, 4-2.
Yeah, I don't think it's in Fury's wheelhouse to contest the 5-stack above. They couldn't find any in over towards warehouse. I think they lacked any kind of conviction over towards cafeteria side either to then try and open up the map a little bit more and try to force the defense back. They got heavily stalled out. They walked into a lot of crossfires where I don't think they had a full read as to just how heavy the hold was above. And so ultimately the end result was sort of expected, their Rival being able to lock it down. So it will be a 2-4 half then. And so in a typical best of 1 match, I think we would say that's pretty even kilter, but considering this is Fury's map pick, and Fury, I think Rival have done a really, really good job there in the first half. We'll see if they can back it up on the attack though. It's very different dynamic. Rival's attacking win rate currently heading into the night is at only 37%, which I think may be the weakest. Yeah, it is the weakest attacking win rate of any team in playoffs. The only 2 weaker were Hasib and Knock Knock. So their attack, unfortunately, has been a letdown so far this stage. We'll see if it proves costly tonight.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I hadn't made that connection. Wonder if it's skewed somewhat by the maps they were playing. I guess they played a lot of Clubhouse, but yeah, no, I would have expected Rival to have a little bit better than that 30-ish%. Especially considering they did play Chalet. I mean, maybe they lost all their attacks on the Chalet against NoCat. Regardless, time to fire up on the attack now. Is the Blitz brought out? Only saw it, what, once or twice from Fury in the end? Wonder what Scarlet's planning with it. On this top floor, like we've said, you need to make sure that you get control of IT and use that with the pressure from connector and electrical as well. You can't just brute force one of these angles like we see so many teams try and fail to do.
Yeah, Scarlet draining out Warehouse indicates to me that he's probably pretty eager to make a play on that part of the map or play top blue and connect with others that push that. So we'll see what eventuates in that regard. Elsewhere, Azuki playing a lurk role basement. I get the feeling that Rival are cooking something up in this round. It feels a little bit more unorthodox at the moment. And, well, Scarlet's already in Warehouse, so they've got a lot of ground. And
Yeah,
we
very
haven't been
counted.
able to stall out a lot of time.
And there's no wall denial as well there on the wall into sight there from Rafters. It's going to enable quite a long line of sight. Scarlet can pivot now his position to top blue. He's feeling that pressure. Have a look at this. Critche really wants to take this fight. EMP goes out. That will deny the Warden from using his glasses to counter the flash. He has to fall back. Thankfully, another player there to support. Scarlet takes some ground, but still hasn't managed to push all the way forwards. However, Rival have still managed to get that opening kill. Like Colas down. I believe that was the player playing on this mirror position that was from Songlar here through this breach. And Fury is starting to feel extremely claustrophobic on the bomb side.
And Hinton just needs to be patient. He'll be able to find a kill for the rest of the team. He's able to build pressure. Trades elsewhere. Still, though, in favor of Rival. Minute on the clock. Quick J going nuclear again. The star player for Fury stepping up. Great flash, though. Jackie Wu facilitates that play, but another trade to come through. I9 this time to step up over towards IT. And it's now Hinjin in the 1v1.
Well, good trade. Yeah, and Critche's got the diffuser as well. He's playing on that shield. Hinjin's so capable of winning this. Really, it just comes down to who hits their shots. Critche's already low HP. One bullet required for Hinjin, and he finds it straight between the eyes. Critche was meant to be the hero, but he just couldn't hack it. Rival. Oh my, they're firing up on this attack.
Yeah, I mean, if we just compare the two teams' attacks on that site in a vacuum, how much more exciting and innovative did that attack feel compared to Fury? They had some really good ideas in that round, Rival. The biggest one being that EMP that we saw over towards top blue, right? Not only did it disrupt the Warden, now ultimately it didn't net them a kill in the moment, but I think in another situation or another round it possibly could. But it also denied the BPC and the Melusi Banshee there. And it helped unlock a lot of the round. There's then a lot of pressure and a lot of the focus of the defense was diverted top blue. And in the meantime, they actually utilized that to then flush out the likes of Warehouse and IT and make plays. And sure, Crit J went pretty nuclear in that round. But unfortunately, the damage had already been done. And came down to 1v1 again. Probably should have still gone the way of Fury with the diffuser priority and the deployable shield. But just a little bit more composure in the end there from Rival to win it out.
It feels like holistically, the rounds Fury win, they're winning because players individually are popping off, right? Critche that round had a big impact on that Warden. I9 got aggressive, retook IT. Every moment that looks good from Fury tends to be based on something like that, not overall macro. Yeah, they're playing the round well, they're playing off of each other. No, it's individual moments of greatness. And as much as it's lovely to have individual moments of greatness and highly talented players on your roster, it's usually a red flag when that's all you've got. Quite a significant red flag as well. And like you said, Rival, their pushes look well-informed. Their pushes look really organized, really innovative. And we can't say the same out of Fury. Even the defenses that Fury put forth, Rival have a really solid response for. And we honestly just cannot say the same about what happened in that first half. A Rival going up against Fury on their own map pick, only 2 rounds away from stealing it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Clubhouse is going to be really intriguing if Fury can't string together fundamentals. On a map like Clubhouse, it may actually be exposed even more so. I suppose on the flip side, the devil's advocate argument would be that innovating on Clubhouse is equally as challenging, so maybe Rival could have their own issues, but I think they've very much set the tone early on in this series. Regardless of the result from this point onwards, Rival are going to be competitive in this match, and Fury cannot be caught slacking. Otherwise, it could quickly unravel their stage and dash their hopes at the major. As we prepare for round 8, the Deimos has been brought out from Azuki. 4 and 5 for him so far tonight. And ground now taken through the first floor to facilitate the Ram. Gridlock also in play, so some flank watch available to the attack. Nitro Cell again will land. Nitro's been massive in this match so far, and it's BG, man, this time around, well, not only good for one, follows it up with the second through the angle that he just created.
I gotta say, guys, where's this BG man been for the stage? This guy was the best player on Fury in stage 1, and he's been massively shown up. As we saw on the graphic, like, Critchay is the only player that's outlandishly positive in terms of the stats in stage 2. And BG man is finally looking like he's having a couple more impact moments here. And yeah, I just want to know what he's been doing for the last couple of months.
Bomb located by attackers.
He's been storing up his energy in hibernation, ready for playoffs. But he's going to need a big performance, I think, tonight to help wrangle back this map. And so far, this round has been awesome. 3 kills from BG man. I9 cut down. The drop from Scarlet, 20 seconds on the clock. He does have the diffuser in hand, but needs to go big as BG man goes very big indeed. On for the ace. It's Jackie Wu at Cargo Stairs.
Yeah. Oh, 4 defines, not likely to do it. Rival had some decent ideas, but there was one little tiny problem. There was one tiny little thorn in their side, and his name was BG man. Critchay does silence me a little bit by getting that final kill. But a big round from BG. And I gotta say as well, having a look at the cameras for that brief moment there, the faces of Fury doesn't fill you with confidence. They know that they have not been good enough in this map, and even though they just had quite a dominant round win, you look at these faces, that's not the expressions of people who are looking happy, who are looking confident. You remember every time these guys went around here, a rival, like Scarlet's
they're even smiling now. They're literally
face.
smiling now. Like that's the difference, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. Vibe diff, man.
Look, I mean, I feel like we're memeing on it, or it sounds like we might be memeing on it, but vibes and mental cannot be overstated enough, especially in Siege. That the game naturally has a lot of volatility, and even the best teams are going to struggle to be super consistent. So I think it's about acknowledging that as a team, minimizing mistakes, copying it on the chin when rounds don't go your way, but then also being able to relish in your success and look to try and carry that momentum forward. And we've seen that for the most part from Rival tonight, who have looked really good on both sides so far. Fury, though, obviously aren't going to go down without a fight, and if they do eventually start to sniff blood in the water, they are going to capitalize. Again, though, Tertiary Site will be tallying round 9 here over to Storage. Do Rival have another interesting attack cooked up and ready to go, because at least top 4, basement being the exception, but top 4, they looked like they were cooking.
Is this the first Dokkaebi we've seen in this map? I feel like it is. I haven't seen much of it. We saw it once in the first half. Gotta say, funny when, I guess, yeah, we did see a little bit of a nerf, but really, Dokkaebi's still bloody insanely good. It really depends how much Roam Game will expect to see out of Fury here, and how much of a kind of a soft entry with those initiating operators we want to see out of Rival, without going for the classic drone and clear. It's the benefit of it. Ooh, that is very risky, I9. He loses his life early. Songla, so aware.
Yeah, Dokkaebi's only been banned once here in Asia so far this particular stage, and predicted about 1 in 5 rounds. So that nerf has been far more impactful than I certainly expected. I really didn't think it was going to shift the needle too much on Dokkaebi, but I suppose with the shield meta as well, probably got to factor that into the equation. Yeah. We'll see if those logic bombs do have impact here in this 9th round. The beauty of them being that it can really snowball an advantage, and they only become more powerful as the round goes on, typically. They can deny a lot of that information on site. So provided Azuki is able to stay alive, it's going to be quite impactful.
Oh, that is an aggressive run out from Critchay. He's actually going to go for it again. He's lucky that Azuki fell back. They know exactly where he is now. And they can hear him as well. Come on, Jackie. He wants Critchay to go for it.
He's going to get shot in the back.
Apparently not, at least not yet. And the double kill from Lycolis might have brought this round back here. Critchay now looking to go downstairs as Azuki finally gets a kill on the back of that second logic bomb. None left remaining, 1 minute to play. 2 versus 3 advantage for Fury on this defense. But those players are very separated. That diffuser's got to be picked up, and Jackie is likely going to get the audio into where Lycolis is. Easy headshot for Azuki to tie up the score. There should have been info for Lycolis. That camera would have called out where Azuki went. Now the two top fraggers for Fury have got to rebalance to stave off this match point from Rival. They have one player above, and they have Critche just loitering around this corner as well. Azuki's got info on where BG Man is. He might be able to land this shot. This could be round defining. The Critche's around the corner as well, and he's gone down. All up to BG Man now. 1v2, he's got some info above, but I don't think he's got enough info on the site. There's a bulletproof camera in warehouse, but not in the site itself. He has to look for an opportunity to deny from above, but I don't think he's got the vert. Don't think he's got the angle. He's spotted. He's shot up. He's not going to be able to deny the plant. He's not even going to get an opportunity to. He doesn't have the information necessary, and now a post-plant required. He finds the first of two needed. And Azuki, low HP, doesn't know where he is! BG Man clutches the round! Fury will stay alive here. But a glum face shows that they are far, far from redemption yet.
That was pure chaos ball in the last 30 seconds of that round. The amount of panic that we saw from all three players left alive as that plant was going down was insane. That's just a testament to the amount of pressure weighing on these players at the moment. BG Man flustered, couldn't find line of sight onto the diffuser to deny. Did a good job to bring it down to the 1 versus 1, and then equally we saw the panic from Azuki repositioned over towards that warehouse position, despite knowing that BG Man was up above. He left himself exposed, perhaps not entirely sure where he should play. I think he maybe got caught in a Legion mine as well, and that certainly didn't help. BG Man, even in that final fight, still whiffing a couple of shots, sensing the pressure as he was low on HP, but able to get the job done. A scrappy affair, as many of these round wins have been for Fury, but ultimately they are just keeping pace.
Kind of ironic, actually, that Azuki ran into warehouse, which is the one place that Fury had that bulletproof camera, the one place where they had information. I mean, he was probably like absolutely shitting himself because he doesn't want to jump out the window where his teammates just died, but he also doesn't want to go and stand underneath all the vert in sight. So yeah, that was a rough run for Azuki, and look, to his credit, he's actually had a phenomenal game. Even though he is currently negative, we've definitely felt his impact. It feels like every time he's getting a kill, it's one worth talking about.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Round 10, and the Kaid hidden by BG Man in sight. No Tuberau available as that was banned out by Rival, but the Kaid can still certainly provide some value. We see double hard reach and Thatcher in response though from the attack. Oh, Songler lit up towards warehouse, trying to soft breach. That opened up. That could have been a bit of a disaster for Rival. Fortunately though, Songler able to survive with those 3 summers still in hand. Azuki, once again, lurking and loitering through base. We've seen this quite a few times now. Probably trying to progress over towards the likes of warehouse / control sort of area of the map, storage. To contest the mirror, I would assume.
He's got some info, surely. No, okay, now he's blind. An easy opening kill there for Azuki. Big player to take down on Critche. Also the Warden. We got that blitz up. Critche as well. Last time we saw this bomb site played, Critche was the top fragger for Fury, the best play in that round, the most impactful. So, good advantage for Rival.
Oh, that's aggressive from Songler, but it is rewarded. And this round feels like it's all but over for Fury unless they can produce something special. Still a minute 40 on the clock here for Rival. The shield's still up. They have the buck below for Vert. Not a lot of win cons remaining here for the defense.
Wow.
Well, that could be one. That could be one.
Certainly one of them, Guz. A C4 in combo with a bit of a spray from Lycolis. I like that Fury decided to get active. I mean, they're in that 3v5. They know that the biggest X factor for Rival is that blitz. Now here comes the entry though from Hinchin. They've managed to get the reinforcement off. And also the Wamai Magnet catches that Selma. We thankfully do have 2 left. But that's really awkward now for Rival. I mean, there was quite an advantage. Now they still have a minor one. But especially if Songlar loses here, Lycolis has read that rotation. This could slip away very quickly from Rival.
Azuki is still blowing cargoes. I mean, you need to see that buck get to work and help pressure those positions on site through command. Like, that needs to be his #1 priority. Instead, I think he actually goes blue stairs. So, the shield play critical for the defense.
And no Warden left remaining. That flashbang going to have a huge impact. Good job from Songlar on that entry. Now just 2 players left for Fury. 99 has to have a massive impact. You should hear the prone there. He wants to go for a cheeky angle, but this is not a very favorable fight, and the Buck finally makes his presence known from below. I9 needs to have a massive impact in this round. He's only found 3 kills this whole game, but with 20 seconds to go, he is in the round-winning position. That backstab is still very much alive. I think we've still got that player behind the deployable shield. 2 of them, in fact. Half the team's going to come from this angle. I9 finds one, can't land the shots onto the second, and eventually goes down to Azuki. Rival recompose, and map point rather, is very much now within their grasp.
Oh, I tell you what, I9 probably deserved to win both of those particular fights. Bit unfortunate on the second, but Fury did make life difficult for themselves in that round after losing that opening duel. There's a lot of pressure then from Warehouse, and despite the retaliation attempt with the Nitro and the reinforcement, both of which were great, still with that Buck lurking down below, the pressure that was able to feed, and then the really clean clear over towards top blue, and that stack went from Rival. Yeah, just withered down the opportunities that Fury had to fight back into this particular round. With that, Rival now on map point. Certainly a sentence that I, to be frank, did not expect to say throughout this series, but certainly not here on the first map.
And just spectating and watching that replay of I9 makes me think he's not confident in his own shots. Like, he swung and then he stopped swinging, and then he swung and then he stopped swinging. He never full committed to the shot, and I don't know, a bit of a red flag. Like, it just tells me that I9 doesn't believe that he's going to win those fights right now. He has to play a little bit more passively, and if he continued swinging, he probably would have found both of them. You can ifs and buts every situation, but at the end of the day, Rival have gotten to this point of their own volition and merit. And it's not even a question of who's played better in this game so far, guys. Like, Rival have been a cut above. Now they have 2 map points here on Fury's map choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they would feel very hard done by if from this scoreline and this quality of Siege that they've played so far from this point, if they were to lose it, sure, it's not end of the world and not end of the series, but it would be very disappointing. They, from here, well and truly, have to win this map. They've played really well. And they've capitalized on a Fury that have fallen back into their shell a little bit tonight. And on the topic of shells, we do finally see the Scopos tonight in the hands of CritJ. An operator that really does help facilitate his kind of playstyle, aggressive off-site, and then a quick, sharp rotation back towards the objective. We do see the Deimos, though, actually with a death mark on that defender, just trying to keep that Scopos honest.
Located a bomb.
Yeah, I like you, Pick. In the absence of Valkyrie, don't see her get a lot of play. I don't mind it, especially because of how many bulletproofs we've seen brought to the table by these teams. I mean, in this case, we've got 2 of them. Information comes at a premium at the cost of that Valkyrie, but I don't mind it. And of course, like the Scopus, the inactive shell, essentially acts like a BPC as well. Ram getting to work. And the one big difference we're seeing with Fury compared to how Rival like to play it was we don't see as many C4s, and not likely to see multiple C4 kills onto these Vert players, which tended to really slow down the Fury attack.
So then, a minute on the clock and a 5v5, shaping up to be a very chaotic final execute. But will it be the final execute here on Labs for the series? Certainly, few will be hoping that it isn't, as they look to try and extend this match to overtime. Groundwork done by Rival.
Oh, he's gone for it.
I think those still in play from CritJ.
Timing it. Oh. 1 kill. Big impact from CritJ. This has got to be one of the first times we have seen the shell switch actually enable such a significant flank. The whole round it's been sitting up in meeting hall, and CritJ's been on site. Despite the IQ, it wasn't spotted. Now 5v3, Fury locking this one in. Azuki finds something. CritJ needs to be careful not to die now. He can always switch back to Atlas and get back into the action on site, but he's found Jackie Wu. Desperate now from Scarlet. That diffuser's not going down. Azuki saves the KD, but it means very little. Great round there from Fury. And for what I think is the first time we actually saw Scopos be the round-defining factor in a round.
Yeah, massive, massive, massive. Really highlighting the ability of the Scopos to be a threat in the late round. It can be very difficult to account for that as the attack. I think also compounded by the fact that it was a 5 versus 5. Naturally, it means that there's a lot more occupying the minds of those looking to go for the execute. Sort of a case sometimes where having 5 attackers alive and no one to play like a dedicated drone flank watch can actually sometimes be to the demise of the attack. And so, yeah, really good demonstration there of timing that really well. And I think it does come down to the timing element. If you leave it too late and these players have already dropped the hatch and they're executing on site, that can sometimes be a problem. But he just caught them in the perfect moment and pretty much won the round for his team. So great work there from Fury. But now they need to go back to the top floor to try and secure OT. And last time out, it was a little bit of a disaster.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which round it was that we saw I9 just throw at the very start of it by swinging outside. That wasn't this side. I think that was the tertiary.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, it was. In fact, it was the control room bomb site. That was a bit of a weird one. I want to see Fury, like, when they see that blitz, they work together to counter it. They got the clash, so maybe they can play a little bit more passively. Even another factor that seems to be playing in here is that Rival have been so good at their hard breach. Like, every single round, they're opening up that wall from rafters into sight, and it just gives Fury nowhere to play. So perhaps working with that Kaid to try and keep that wall a little bit more intact could be the play.
Very, very intrigued to see how this final round of regulation does play out. I think a lot of it, again, might hinge on the blitz. And if Scarlet can actually get value from it this time around, whether that be through Warehouse or Top Blue, could significantly bolster Rival's chances of being able to win out the round. That being said, he will be facing, again, the Clash.
Ooh.
Interestingly, though, no Nitro this time, and that was what eventually saw his demise last time.
I'm laughing because I noticed Lycolis, like, juggled that Thermite. Like, obviously, Thermite didn't end up wasting a charge, but immediately Lycolis takes the electrical off, and now he's deployed both of them in different places. So he's being really smart with that util.
I think we might see another blue stairs attack, right? Kazuki again is going to work here. I'll look to contest the shield, but they are doubling down with the deployable as Fury go nuclear elsewhere.
Oh, this flash has got to have an impact to try and force Crit-J and I9 back, but against the Warden, Flash is less than useless. There's Diffuser. Thank you very much, Crit-J. Oh, easy lockout from here for Fury. Wow, they're going to get aggressive. This is risky. This is the way you can lose these rounds. Well, Thatcher doesn't have any EMPs left. There's not many counters to this clash, aside from Fury making a mistake and Rival finding a way back into it.
40 seconds then on the clock, and surely from here Fury will be able to hold on. It's a Warehouse stack from Rival. They run into the meat grinder. They do get the first.
Not half bad shot there, but the Clash needs to be the main player here for Fury. The Clash needs to say, everyone sit back, I will call everything. No need to overextend, no need to feed picks, because that's the only way back into it for Rival. For Fury here, all they have to do is hold on to this position. Crit-J swings on the back of the information from the Clash. Dark joins the fray, all up to Azuki now. Let's see if the Prodigal Son can get it done. 8 seconds, it's not happening. BG Man to send Fury into overtime.
Oh, they've managed to do it. It was quite dicey throughout this game, or throughout this map, but able to finally push OT. And with that, Fury have double defense. So they've found themselves a bit of a case to be made that they might be able to wrangle this map back. As we look back at the last round, not entirely sure where the first flurry of kills came from to transform it into a 5 versus 3, but yeah, from that point onwards, as mentioned, it was basically just the attack walking into the meat grinder. That is the nature of top floor. If you're not keeping pace with the trade game, it's very difficult to bring back.
Blue, because that was how Crit-J got that diffuser.
Alright.
I don't know what the plan was, but yeah, it did not work. Rushing blue into a clash into Warden. Only 2 of your players. Not ideal.
So the Scopos then again in play. Scopos. I don't know which is actually the correct pronunciation.
I actually don't know.
It's like Cade and Kaid, whatever the flavor of the month is, I suppose. We'll see how much of an impact it may have here. Again, we saw CritJ with a massive flank last time around. Surely Rival don't allow that to happen again.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah,
Attackers
I
dropped
just
the
love the idea of it.
Recover
I'm
their
massively biased. So, just to confirm, I think his other shell's on site, and this is the roaming shell. And last time he put it in meeting, and it wasn't drone. There's also no IQ this time around. The IQ can see the inactive shells, so if he's just hiding it up here, then that would be an easy way to just know that there is that that inactive shell hidden away upstairs. He's going for the exact same thing. He's just making sure he's not been droned.
Yeah, no claymores either up for Rival. So they are going to be quite reliant on the Nomad for flank watch if that's ultimately what they are looking to use the Nomad for. The Nomad may also be a tool that they want to also prioritize on the site itself to counteract Plant Denial. Either way, it's going to be really interesting. We do see the Deimos again initially here to try and counter crit J, but he'll switch off immediately. Question will be, do they hunt down the second shell? It is on drone, so surely they just clear it this time around. I understand it will take a bit of time, but maybe it's not worth it as CritJ actually switches back again. So CritJ playing mind games on the Deimos at the moment, and pardon me, on the Scopos at the moment. I think it's a really good demonstration of just the amount of value that this operator can bring.
Yeah, he's also got Lycolis to support him too. He knows that Deimos is starting to push him. I mean, you said it, mind games, right? Like, all that Fury have to do on this roam is delay time. They don't have to actually confirm kills. I9, very aggressive. He needs to get back safe. Like, here's the smoke. He needs to be holding onto a position for a really long time. He needs to make sure he doesn't die, but Lycolis has his hallway covered. Beautiful teamwork here from Fury. Where has this been in this whole game? Now another crossfire between the two of them. As the Ram starts to make her way forward, Jackie Wu doesn't know whether to go for that push or to go and work on the vert. Meanwhile, Fury have decided it's about time. Let's get back to site. We just leave CritJ. He can always change shells and get back onto site if needed.
Yeah, Rival going catch them on the rotation. Now forced him through the drop. Goyo canister to implode. Electrical for CritJ. So he's still lurking top floor. Rival haven't gotten a ton of value from Vert either in this particular position. And so they're really going to struggle here with 30 seconds on the clock. Scopos, again, still in electrical. And it hasn't been accounted for. It looks like they're going to go for a default single wall plant. And I wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, good luck with this one. CritJ once again on the flank. Yeah, the Air Jabs will do very little to dissuade him from making that flank happen. Scarlet down to 3 HP. I9's weight worth in gold thanks to the smoke, and the kills just continue to come through. All up to Azuki, the last man alive, trapped in Warehouse. A flawless round for Fury. And this comeback train is chugging along very nicely. Their map pick, they've just won 3 rounds in a row to send us their very first map point.
Yeah, I think this map overall has still been rather underwhelming for Fury, but that basement defense setup that they have is really, really strong, and I think it really does expose maybe some of the weaknesses that Rival do have in prioritizing their objectives throughout the round. I think they got caught trying to do too many things at once, and probably, again, weren't entirely sure, do we hunt down the Scopos, do we ignore it? How many players are supporting the Roma? Can we maybe exploit site instead? It got caught in a little bit of a middle ground where they did eventually get some vert control, but they never properly dealt with CritJ, who then hit a flank. And in the meantime, they were still forced to go deep because they also hadn't cleared the util belt on site. So the composition and playstyle employed there from Fury on that the basement site on back-to-back occasions now has been really, really good. Some good siege from them. So they now have the lead. And OT being only limited, they have double defense, so this attack is essentially a free shot for them to see if they can put it across the line.
Yeah, and it's on command servers, which they did actually manage to win one of the 2 times that they attacked onto it. It was the second time. And they are running more or less the same lineup. We've got this blitz back into it again. Yeah, I think that Fury are back on this horse well and truly, guys. I think they're back in the race. That first half was pretty dismal from them. Like, I was worried that I was maybe being a little bit too harsh, to be honest, guys. But Fury just, like, really did not impress me in that first half. Like, this looked like a dead average team that didn't understand the win conditions. They didn't have a clear plan for their attacks. And now we've seen a completely different beast come to life in these last couple of rounds. And this is, like, more like the Fury that we know and love.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope we see that same conviction, though, on this attack. Still do have another opportunity defensively, but I think it would be great peace of mind to close this off with an attack. They bring the Blitz for round 14. And that will likely be a critical tool in unlocking either Top Blue or Warehouse. We've seen both options have success. A lot of it does typically hinge, though, on the ability of the attack to hard breach into Warehouse. And I feel like as we see more and more rounds of this particular objective, that tends to be the biggest determining factor. As you can see, though, it's a rather aggressive hold from Rival. The wall is not fully reinforced, but there are keeper barriers to supplement that. Could be a fall-off strat where they then look to reinforce, but I don't think they have any left, right? So it's a full commit. Rival leaning heavily into the Izami.
Ow. That's a huge chunk of damage. Well, Lycolis needs to be careful. Oh, here we go. That's C4 shot out of midair. Lycolis finds the kill. Massive impact there from the Ash of Crit J. Now it's time for Fury to convert. They've got that opening pick. They have opened up an avenue into sight, taking control of Blue. It's time to finish this game off.
Yeah, sharp. Very, very sharp. Now a 5 versus 4. The creep from Dark could be round ending for Rival.
Yeah, it looks like it may indeed be. Something perhaps, though. As shots fired back and forth all up to Jackie Wu. 1v3. The Blitz is hunting for him. And Lycolis puts him back in his place. Fury may have struggled this stage, but they have recomposed on their map pick and taken a big win here on the first map at Nighthaven Labs. 1 map away from redeeming themselves and heading back into the semi-finals.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow start for Fury on this particular map, but they were able to slowly wrangle back control, finally starting to play a brand of Siege that we have known them for. So we'll see if that continues into the rest of the series. Clubhouse, let's make it clear, it has also not been a very clean map for them this stage either, so we'll see how they go.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, guys. We'll bring in the real experts now. Rob, what a game. I don't know what to say about that one other than Fury, are they back? Question mark?
Yeah, sure. We'll say that. They're back. Very concerning for me just seeing the way in which they started this game. It was so slow. Rival had their number in every single one of their attacks, and I think by the grace of God, they were given enough leeway to push this to overtime and really force, Rival to show what they're made of. And I think, Xenox, maybe you could probably attest to this. It felt as though it kind of just ran out of steam for Rival.
I mean, that's probably an easy way to kind of look at it, considering they got that 3-0 start, right? So that start, I'd probably say, Rob, sorry, but like inverse, right? Rather than the kind of like running out of steam mantra, it's more like really just shot out of the blocks. Couple of, really good starts to this game, opening 3 rounds. If you kind of take the opening 3 rounds out, after that, it's just all Fury for the vast majority of the rest of the game, outside of the point when, of course, Rival then got towards match point, had 2 opportunities, but that's to the testament to the start that they had. And I think when you kind of look at, I spoke about the opening engagements, but that's where they kind of dominated the game for a large portion of the match. Rival, they're getting all of these opening kills, and so they've got this advantage. The game was kind of slow in the first half, picked up in terms of pace in the second half, and I don't know if maybe that was to Fury's advantage, but at the end of the day, it's just defense on Labs, and then if you can control defense, you can get the job done. And I think that's what Fury were able to do in that second half. Just started to control defense, and subsequently, you go to overtime, you just win 2 in a row, and it ends up being that they go and win 5 of the last 6 rounds. So yeah, maybe you're right, running out of steam, but their start was really impressive.
Yeah, and look, we've got to take away the positives here for Rival because they looked competitive, right? It's not like we're sitting here saying that that's all they had. There were a couple of rounds in there that looked really good. To attest to your comment about, you know, the opening kills, out of the first 10 rounds, they secured 70% of the opening kills. And that really goes to show for me the kind of energy that Rival bring to every game at the moment, Dev, in the Asia League. They seem positive, they seem confident, and they feel like that next up-and-coming squad for me. I don't know, but maybe I'm leaning too much into it. Maybe I'm not giving Fury enough credit.
Yeah, look, I mean, Fury did play well in that second half. I want to give them credit them, especially because as I said during the match, like, I think I went really hard on Fury in the first half. It was probably warranted, but in that second half, Fury played well, and even though Rival didn't manage to keep pace, overall, like, they played good Siege today, and I think that they were better than Direwolves were today for sure, and I think holistically, even though Direwolves beat Rival, I think Rival are actually looking like the better of the two teams right now. And I expect that this is a team that will be able to like stick together for a long time and continue working through their issues and continue rising up the standings. I wouldn't be surprised if one day these guys are in the conversation for a top 4 in Asia. You just get that vibe out of a team that looks like they know what they're doing. And another beautiful thing to see in this match in particular was the energy from these guys on the camps. Like these guys
not over, James.
looked like they were here for it.
He's talking like very defeatist. Still got another map.
We still got club.
Yeah, we maybe have 2 more maps. I guess I maybe am a little bit defeatist. To be honest, like I love jumping to conclusions. I think you guys probably know this about me at this point. But like first 3 rounds in, I was like, well, I guess Fury haven't come to play today. And now that the map's over, like I mean, you look at the history on Clubhouse, and I just don't think Rival's going to win this. Prove me wrong, sure. But regardless, I think they've played good Siege today, and I think they've actually impressed me compared to like not knowing who 4 out of these 5 players were coming into this stage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, you know, the implementation of the entire roster, I think, has been quite impressive. Obviously, they've had maybe a slower end to the stage after having a strong start. But Xenox, that just seems to be kind of the fitting storyline for this roster right now. It's kind of, you know, they get excited, they're all happy, they're hitting their marks on player cams, and then the game slowly progresses, and those big, excited smiles just turn into grins. They're not like, you know, I felt like by the end of the game, they weren't necessarily down on themselves, but you could see that energy was nowhere near where it was at the start.
Yeah, true. And maybe James is onto something because we've got like 17 minutes left in the day here. So by the end of Clubhouse, if they get belted, he could be like, "No, Rival, they were great yesterday, but they were shit today." So look, honestly, I think going into Clubhouse, it's definitely not going to be an easy task. You asked me in the pre-match discussion when we got the vetoes, what did I think? I just said 2-0. I think Fury is just going to be far too good on Club. I felt like Rival needed to close out Labs, and maybe we would have got that 3rd map. But I guess from their perspective, you've just got to kind of play what's ahead of you. And look, they played well enough on Labs that if they can, you know, capitalize a little bit more on the chances that they did have, and capitalize those on Club, if they can, of course, actually get those chances to eventuate, then yeah, maybe there is a chance they could get us to a 3rd map. They're gonna need a little bit more from Scarlet though, someone that typically does perform. Unfortunately, couldn't get going in this game, but the good signs were, you know, Hinjin, Jackie Wu, Songla, you know, they were pretty competitive. But this team needs Azuki, and I like the guy's gone 11-9 and had an alright game, 79% cost, 3-1 on the first kills, but I think he needs to play even more, and that's probably just where this team's at. They're just not like a Bleed where you've got 5 great players across their board. Azuki can play to a pretty high level, and they're going to need that. You know, BG Man goes and drops 16-7. I need to see that from Azuki for them to win Club.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got to dig deep now. That's just essentially what it is. It is do or die for them here. We're going to head to Clubhouse after the break to determine Rival. What was I going to say? Rival's future history? I don't know, man. It's getting too late here. Fury are 1 map away from going. You know what, Jake? How about you throw? How about, you know what, Jake Xenox and Diddy? You do my job for me.
I wish Michael was here to throw because he has been absolutely amazing at it today. Short break on the other side. We'll head to the 2nd map of this quarterfinal.
So for us, we've made the last 4 events: Atlanta, SI, Manchester, and obviously EWC most recently. So I think anything less than like a major qualification would be pretty much a failure for us coming into the season.
For every stage, our main goal is to make it to major. So it's also our expectation to beat like every team in this region and make it to major.
to be champion once again, just like last year. We hope we preparation.
This season is looking really, really good. The state of the game is something I'm really enjoying after a long time. It's really fun, and I'm looking forward to having a great time and hopefully securing a good position in this league.
We have a big enemy like Bleed, Elevate, so yeah, I expect to win against them and qualify for the major. That's what my goal right now.
Yeah, honestly, I think we can win like top 3 or top 4. We're like full of passion right now. Yeah, and I think that helps.
Our team has to play against the MENA region as well, because we normally play on UAE server. The two regions, Asia and MENA, they're very different in play style. That basically results in very unique ways to play the game, and I think it gives us an advantage in some of the situations against the Southeast Asian teams such as Fury Elevate. So we're gonna have to see how that pans out.
Yeah, it's Azuki, our core player, like our fragger. I would say it's the top 3, okay, top 3 fragger in our region. When he do the 1v1, he never lose 1v1, bro. Even he's like against like Rips 96, Third, okay, Krij sometimes, but yeah, he wins a lot.
I think for one, like the diversity in our team, like we have Leader from EU, Reaps from China, Robin from Indonesia, and I'm obviously from New Zealand. Especially with all the international experience we get, we can bring things back into this league that people have never seen before. So yeah, I would say that's what makes us unique from other teams.
My playstyle is kind of slow, and I like to do like structured stuff. I don't like random jump outs, stuff like that.
That's why my team plays that. I would think about the last season. I think the last season our playstyle was like, yeah, we usually didn't play post plan, or most of the try to plan the bomb. It's just like team deathmatch sometime, I think, in the last season. Yeah.
Every one of us has different playstyle. You will see one of us going very aggro, one of us very slow. It depends on the day. And my playstyle will be very aggro against anyone I know. So be ready for the aggressives. Thanks.
I feel like I'm the kind of the player that fulfill the needs of my team. Like if my team needs something.
Welcome back, guys. We're back here into map 2 of Rival versus Fury for a spot in the semi-finals here in the Asia League. Fury came down to a bit of an overtime match in the first one. After being 0-3 down at the start, they came back to win 8-6, and I'm joined by the Guzzler. Guzzle, we see the Blitz being banned out as well. Rival don't want to deal with that any longer. I don't know. I think we're just.
Apologies. Sorry, you're talking to Ghosts.
Do you want to go again there, Michael?
I was just curious why I'm being titled the Guzzler this evening, out of nowhere.
I don't know, man. It just seems so fitting for you.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, eager to jump into this series and potentially conclude what has been an up and down day for Fury, but I think we do still need to see some improvement here on Clubhouse, because their Clubhouse overall this stage hasn't been particularly clinical, and I'm trying to think about the exact match that I'm talking about. It was in fact against Bleed.
You're thinking about,
and that is when they brought the damn Kali, and it was really, really messy. And I hope tonight in the second half, Fury have completely ripped that strategy up and thrown it in the bin. Otherwise, I'm going to be very upset.
Can I stretch a real wild yarn here? Can I spin something up? All right. So, what's great about Clubhouse is that both of these teams have actually played it against the same teams here in this very same league. So we have a perfect barometer. Let's talk about Bleed, right? Fury played Bleed and they won 4 rounds on Clubhouse. Rival played Bleed and won 2 rounds on Clubhouse. What about Hasib Warriors? Oh, well, Fury played Hasib Warriors and beat them 7-2, and Rival beat them 7-4. So what we learned from that is that Fury is exactly 2 rounds better than Rival in both of those matchups. So that means I guess it's going to be a 7-5.
Clinical analysis.
Have I just absolutely big brained this?
If this ends up being 7-5, that's the call of your career.
Oh man. Flip it, chat. Flip it.
Well, Fury are starting out on defense here to open up club, and it's a bedroom gym defense for the first round. Mirror in response actually over towards Jacuzzi Breach, so the Fury are going to look to contest this. No impacts for the defense, but they do have triple nitro. Impact EMPs from Grim should help open up this wall. But there is the opportunity for the bandit trick. I always get nervous when I see this for the attacking team because hard breach can sometimes be more challenging. Oh, it's a grenade. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Oldie but a goodie, Guz. We love that.
Wow. Yeah, no, I respect it. Like, Hall's peeking over towards Dirk currently as well, so he might be on for one if anybody drops that balcony. But looks like it's pretty conservative at the moment from the attack. They'll rotate over towards Cash, I believe, and work their side of the map.
It's been a long time since we've seen teams use the Zofia consistently to counter that bandit juggle, and you mentioned Lycolis, he's actually able to find Jackie Wu. At least Jackie was able to expend all of his util on the ace, but that's still a big kill, regardless from Lycolis on that roam, and he should be able to start making his way back to site as well.
Yeah, for Fury, it's just about ensuring they don't bleed picks from this point onwards. As Lycolis makes his way back towards the objective, he can flank up main lane. Everybody from the attack of Rival still situated outside the map. BG Man with a read on the balk, but he does die. Oh, he took one with him though. Okay.
It's pretty solid. It's actually the player behind the one he was fighting that he ended up headshotting. Bit of a tilter there for Azuki. 40 seconds left to play. Bees come out, the flash comes out. Okay, yeah, you can know he's there with the bees. He can still peek you. I don't know why I9 is over swinging that. And Songlar does make this perhaps winnable. 2 versus 2 with still 30 seconds to play out. Critche and Lycolis both separated, but both having very solid positions. Songlar has snuck deep into bathroom. Where's the plant and our potential? There is no C4 to speak of. This has to come down to some good swings there. And Songlar does find Lycolis while getting taken down. It's all up to Critche in the 1 versus 1. And he does win it indeed. He should know about this downed player as well, and can confirm that kill for his teammate. Easy clutch up there for Critche in the 1v1. And Fury, not clean, not clinical, but the round is theirs.
Yeah, we saw some pretty good ideas there from Rival to break down the defense in that last stage and get in a position to go for the plant. And without plant denial readily available for Fury, it did sort of set up a bit of an awkward retake, but you kind of back Critche in to win those. Scarlet was hugging tight against the wall, and so Critche able to have the advantage in that particular gunfight and able to make clean work of it. So solid work there from Fury. But again, the sort of problem-solving skills that we saw from Rival, not only through the mid-round to flush out site and go for the plant, but even further back for hard breach, denial, and countering the bandit was, yeah, really good. Just couldn't quite piece it together though. At the end, you don't get the reward to show for it.
The Clubhouse does test your fundamentals when it comes to the breaching, the mini-games, and that kind of thing. And yeah, like you said, Rival actually looks surprisingly good at it. I feel like I've seen far too many teams in this stage just fumble to bandit juggles on Clubhouse. So it's nice to see that Rival can bring out the old strat book and go into the pass a little bit, get the Zofia in there, something a little bit old-fashioned that we don't see much anymore. No reason why. It still works, very much so. Basement, though, is a different beast entirely, Guz. I mean, you can be good at hard breaching on this site. It does not mean that you're guaranteed to win this round.
Yeah, certainly so. And we are going to see an aggressive roam straight off the rip here from Critche. Now, he's not electing to play the Scopus just yet. Instead, the mute. He may have Jam is on the top floor.
One in pocket still.
Yeah, that's exactly what drew my attention. And he's in quite a precarious position. Doesn't seem eager to fall off just yet. Still holding top red. Doesn't have much in the way of support here either, so... Yeah, CritJ, 3 kills in the last round. Searching for more here in the second. I don't know if he's been cleared properly. No, he hasn't. Okay, so missed drone from Rival.
Yeah, that was pretty poor, unfortunately. We saw the drone go into cash. He saw it go past. He decided not to shoot. He stayed at top red. There's the drone coming from bot red. It must have just been bad timing there for Rival. Scarlet, fortunately, had a bit of an abysmal Nighthaven Labs, statistically speaking. The weakest player in the server, and already off to a bit of a rough start here. And what's more, that's your buck going down. That's your tin can openers. A little bit of hard breach gone. But more importantly, it's all that soft destruction. Thankfully, there is some pressure from the Ram to help support it. He's going to be a run out from CritJ. Oof. He's a daring man, this guy.
I mean, there's not really any substantial pressure on that position now. Rival have pivoted elsewhere and focused their effort on Burp, Ram. Ash to counter the mirror for triple wall.
They're doing the bleed strat.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we saw Bleed do with that mirror window. So I guess Fury had been taking notes.
I mean, we even saw a team Thermite trick on the wall to open part of above it through Vert. That was pretty intriguing as well. So still room for new tricks here on Club. 45 seconds though on the clock for Rival, and CritJ is still on this room.
Jackie does find the opening kill. Immediately, CritJ finds one in his flank, though. He needs to make sure not to overextend, though. His timing's just a little bit off. As a player close, he doesn't hear Azuki sneak up. And Rival, maybe have a shot in this. But Songlar and Azuki have to get really aggressive now. This shotgun from Songlar is not ideal. There's no soft wall he can destroy. He's going to go deep into side, though. Just the bearing to cover himself. And Azuki here at bottom main stairs. This is quite winnable. Songlar continues to push forward. The timing is not there for Azuki. I don't know why Songlar kept pushing. Didn't feel safe going for that plant, and it cost him the round.
Yeah, I think if they had that time again, you'd maybe fake the first plant and then just back in Azuki to win a fight down long. And then you could maybe reassess. I can understand not wanting to just blindly go in and stick the plant, but yeah, unfortunately they were at the disadvantage either way, and so Fury able to mop that round up. A lot of that facilitated off the back of CritJ on the roam, finding success. Not only did he find the opener in through CCTV, but then found one bar as well. Was ultimately traded, but those on site able to fortify their positions, and so Fury so far here on the second map looking quite convincing.
Defense Clubhouse, like, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. As much as my prediction on the desk was that this should be a pretty solid Fury win, and I know Jake agreed. I think Rob, he doesn't always let on his opinions, that man, but I had a feeling that he was of the same mind as well, and I get the vibe maybe you are too. Like, we're kind of all expecting a 2-0 here, right? Yeah.
10 seconds to go.
I just want to be right, because, you know, that's what matters at the end of the day, right? For me personally.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
want the 7-5.
Yeah, true. I forgot about that. Yeah, look, I'm expecting a 2-0, but also if you had have asked me how competitive I expected Rival to be, I probably wouldn't have said that competitive. But to be honest, like, especially at least on Labs, and even some of the ideas we've already seen here at Club, are pretty solid in terms of fundamentals, and also just enough innovation to keep things a little bit fresh as well. They're not playing like super standard, boring linear pushes. They are trying to experiment a little bit, and it had mixed success clearly off the back of that first map result. But Rival certainly have been cooking playing into this game, and it's shown so far. They'll be looking to actually reap the rewards of that best opportunity now here on the tertiary of Cash CC, a site that can be quite tricky to lock down. The Capitao and Grim combination employed here by the attack, indicating that a Rafters clear is the most likely outcome.
I just think it's hilarious seeing Azuki play this little game of staring down the Clash. The Clash is just looking at him. You see that little head pop up out that window, still just staring at him. I think he's tempted to get a teammate to peek from one of these master windows on the back of that information. That's why Azuki wasn't safe droning outside. And he's going to reposition. We see that breach come through finally, but of course, the name of the game on this bomb site is how do you clear rafters? And we don't have that Monty Brawl, and we have that Clash present, which means it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, let's see how it goes then. This position from like Coles inside of Lounge or the Clash is rather aggressive. Now Mini Stairs looking to probably ward away the threat of this clear or try to stall it out. Like Coles will spot it.
Two of them. He can't target both of them at once. Oh, the EMP is great!
Ooh.
And it's an awkward angle for BG Man.
Oh!
The nade takes him out! Awkward now for Fury, since they've just lost 2 players. Critche 1 HP. For a moment there, it looked like Fury had actually won that exchange, but not to be. I9's got to make a huge rotation to get all the way back onto site. And he's going to have to run through this E1D, so Rival knows exactly where he is as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a massive late trade onto the Clash. I don't know how not entirely sure how that was able to be found, but either way, 30 seconds on the clock. Diffuser is stranded main breach, so Rival need to try and get that across or plant hard right.
Oh, I think that's exactly what they want to do. They pinged out the plant spot. That smoke is not ideal. Oh, very dangerous from Azuki, making that huge run across, but no one gets in. They're running below now to prevent the plant denial. The C4 doesn't land, however, and Azuki can continue forcing that plant down. Songlar now making his way up the red stairs. Jackie Wu through the verts, perfect, all up to Y9, and he's caught in the back by Songlar. Straight up those red stairs to save that round there for Rival. A very convincing attack from them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my next statement, many will say it's quite obvious, but because they won the round, but they genuinely did feel like Rival played some really good Siege that round, and then they actually got the reward for it. Their clear over towards Garage was great. They got the delayed trade onto the Clash, which aided a lot of the other issues they may have had late round. And then as they go and cross the default plant, they had the presence of mind for players to start contesting down below. If they hadn't have done that, it could have changed the complexion of the round. Castle Shotgun, for instance, would have been able to deny that default plant. It was a calculated risk because it did expose a more horizontal form of denial, and eventually we did see that kill, but they had wasted enough time and created enough pressure that they could get that plant down, and then those players down below were quite quick to retake up above and eventually hit that trade. So yeah, some good fundamental siege from Rival in that previous round. It's only keeping Fury honest on that first rotation.
It won't be flawless. Good siege from Rival, but also I feel like BG Man's probably kicking himself, being that Rafters player, struggling to aim down low enough to get that kill. I wonder if maybe he could have vaulted and gone for something a little bit more aggressive there, even if he gets traded, like find 1 or 2, especially while the players are distracted with that Clash. BG Man was the absolute hero of map 1, 16 kills. And he was the 2nd best player in stage 1, by the way, in this league, and he's dropped to 21st on the player stats leaderboard here in stage 2, so quite a fall from grace for one of the top players in this region.
Flores in play then for the 4th round. Azami on the board. Also, barbed wire on main stairs, and by clearing this barbed wire early onto the piece, it very much opens the opportunity through the late round for the likes of Azuki, for instance, to lurk up that position and create a lot of pressure. And if the defense is unable to dissuade that, it can be quite impactful, so that's just something to note. Elsewhere, Rotero on main breach to help clear that, and yeah, again, another flawless clear of that Jacuzzi wall from the attack.
It's actually a really cool way to counter the Bandit Juggle as well, not one we see often, but Flores puts a Rotero drone right there. Ooh, watch out, Dark. Yeah, you can't Bandit Juggle while the Rotero is detonating at your feet, so nice use of the Flores there, very unorthodox, but it gets the job done. Breach open. Fury getting quite aggressive here. Look at all these players peeking windows.
Yeah, trying to maybe catch somebody off guard as they drop from the roof. Minute 20 then on the clock.
A bomb has been located.
And 3 players from the attack droning. Now just the 2. Rival looking to gain information so that they can feed that across. Final Rotero being used here by Songla. Still 2 Keybers in the pocket of BG men as well. They bolster this site anchor position. They're doing quite a good job, it feels, at the moment. They're navigating around this pressure, and as I say that, they also get the opening kill.
Yeah, problem is, it's still a mirror window. Jackie was actually going to swing aggressively into side. This mirror window is still holding on to that position. What a shot from Critchay! Threading that needle onto the player on the windows. Desperately now, Jackie Wu waits for someone to cross his line of sight. Songla was the attempt, and unfortunately for Rival, they could not land it. Now, Critchay has got this position on lock from that mirror window, and yeah, I9 here in the bathroom stalls, also in a really solid position. Doesn't really matter if that C4 gets shot out. The fuser is down. Critchay locks it in from that position on the mirror. I mean, there was no escaping this. And a very solid round there from Fury. Just another day at the office, to be honest.
Yeah, Rival is struggling to progress through the checklist on some of these attacks. Typically, the objectives that they are able to cross out, they're doing in a really nice and clinical fashion. Good example being Jacuzzi Breach. But then the follow-up onto Keeper barriers was lacking quite a bit. We didn't see much pressure over towards the cache side of the map. We also didn't see the default mirror logi cleared. You bundle that all together, and then it narrows the amount of opportunities that remain for Rival to even just get into the objective, right? So, falling short in some of the fundamentals. Again, there over towards Gym bedroom. And for Fury, I'm sure that will probably give them a bit of confidence that they can continue to play their playstyle on these primary sites. Basement we go, and a somewhat similar lineup. We're also going to see the castle as well, so I suppose potential for an SSG roam here.
Did you say the line?
I don't think I've said that line for a while, but I did. I swear we had
the line. I swear we used that buzzword a couple weeks ago on a cast. You and I didn't know that.
I don't remember saying it. Maybe you did.
Maybe I did it and you roasted me for it. I think it's just, if ever a caster is casting Clubhouse and we see the SSG roam come out, it's the duty of the co-caster to immediately call it out. What is this from like Olas, bro? You're playing as Army, don't spawn peek. That is also such a dangerous one, man.
We do see the mute employed, and Critchay currently second floor in range of one of those mute jammers, so they are distributed around that top floor of the roam to try and slow down and stall out that clear. And the onus again, Critchay top red, he just loves playing this particular position. 8 kills so far in the match, and we saw how dangerous it was previously. I believe that was back in round 2, again on that basement extension, where he was able to find Scarlet for free. Rival need to make sure they do their due diligence this time around and drone it thoroughly.
No, I don't think they're going to fall to the same thing twice. Even using the Kawan. Okay, that was a bit of an airball. Does not throw the needle through that drone hole. The bees will not go and cover top red. I don't exactly know where Critchay's gone. Did he fall all the way back down blue? I think he might have done. Or at least holding on to more safe positions. Speaking of aggression though, Lycolis, a run out of dirt. He's going to get caught here by Songla. This is very strange. A rush from Rival. Immediately the reply though. The plan fakes. Jackie Wu going for a reattempt now as Critchay gets his C4 and hinge, and another C4 goes over. Well dodged by Jackie Wu. But this may be a little bit too desperate here from Rival. Up to Jackie Wu now. Massive double! This guy's doing it all. He goes for the revive, and it's all up to BG Man, but he's going for a big flank, and he's up above this kitchen hatch. They should know about where he is now. Both players low on HP. He spots one crossing the church. That diffuser now from Jackie Wu, still in his pocket. He's waiting for the right moment. He saw him for a second, going for the drop. This is risky. Just spraying through the wall. He doesn't manage to land the shots needed. One bullet is all he will need to cover off Scarlet. As Rival do their best, and Scarlet does land those shots. What a round from Rival. On the flip of a switch, at the drop of a hat, they go into sight, and Jackie Wu comes up big.
Yeah, I think chaotic is one word to describe that round, but it goes back to the discussion earlier that I was having about Rival and a couple of these rounds having some really inspiring attacks. That round, they find an opportunity on site to start going for the plant. They don't overcommit to it initially. They bait out a lot of utility, a couple of players step up, find multis, big picks, etc. So they did a really, really good job. And despite being on a BPC that entire time, they were still able to make it work, even with the threat up above late from BG Man, who tried his best to play around that information. But then the rotation to Church was ultimately too much for him to be able to take down. So yeah, super, super clean work there in the end from Rival, being able to exploit that roam game on basement. So clean work from them. And now a 3-2 scoreline as we head into the final defense for Fury in regulation.
You know, guys, I genuinely do not recall the last time I saw a kitchen hatch drop rush like that. I think it's been a really long time since we've seen teams do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why Rival knew that Fury didn't have anyone watching that drop, but man, it's quite a round. And now there's a chance that they can tie up the half, which would be pretty big considering that Fury have looked to dominate this half so far. Cash CCTV. This is the one bomb site that Rival won previously. Let's see if they can do it again and tie it up.
Yeah, last time Rival did a really good job in breaking down that hold in Garage with the Grim and the Capitao. It is the Capitao though on this particular occasion. And we're going to see again a heavy investment from Fury on vertical play. That's helped by the Castle Barricades as well. Okay, he will hold that one aside, and with Super Shorty in hand as well, can play for Planted Isle. Meanwhile, the main breach has been worked by the attack. So next up will be clearing some of this utility, which has been done. And Drone's now currently going through Garage to scope that out.
I think it was just the other day on Clubhouse, guys, we saw, yeah, I think it was against the sea. BG Man was playing this position on Rafters. The Capitao Fire came through, and he tried to go for the self-heal, because you can actually withstand the Capitao Vault if you use all your heals.
He mistimed it, though.
He mistimed it, and he ended up frying. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching out for that today. He might even be able to thread the needle on this angle against the Capitao if he's not careful. Flash comes out. Nade comes out. You can't withstand that. Gets taken extremely low. Now he has to heal, and he does. The entry, though, from Songla here almost finds his head. BG Man, you got to land these shots. You can't just be the kind of doc to heal yourself up. You also have to win some fights. But Critche, he's gone for his flank, and he's made it work. This is huge. This is everything Fury wanted. BG Man was the bait after all. Lycolis finds 2 on site. Critche to support from Swamp. It's beautiful from Fury.
Yeah, that's massive from BG Man to be able to withstand that pressure. Was just able to create enough of a stall point in that particular push that others who were playing around that hold could find themselves in pretty active positions and then catch Rival off guard. That was really clinical defense on that site. Probably the most clinical round from Fury we've actually seen in this particular series, so that'll give them a big confidence boost heading into this second half. Sure, the dynamic changes because they are now on attack, but really, really clean. Yeah, that re-aggress from Critche is great. It was always going to be a bit of a linchpin in the round there for the defense, but with BG Man stalling out, we had that big window of opportunity. And so credit to those two, and Lycolis as well, looking down sight. 4-2 lead for Fury. Now just 3 rounds away from progressing in this playoff bracket. Bleed to meet them on the other side, James, and that's going to be a very intriguing matchup if it ends up transpiring.
I would love to see it. I feel like we deserve Fury versus Bleed. We deserve it in a BO3. Yeah, that BO1, that was a rough game. It was on club, and honestly, on reflection, knowing now that Fury found 4 rounds against Bleed, especially with how poorly they played in that match, maybe that gives us a little bit of faith in Fury, and 4 rounds is actually not too bad against Bleed on a map like Clubhouse. It's just a match iconic in this region that I would love to see, but Rivals still stand in Fury's way. As we switch into the second half, here's an aggressive play from Critche. Oh, that flashbang is not going to be great. Immediately, though, he's just scared off Rival. I think there's still one player there at the top of the stairs, perhaps, but looks like most of the defense has just fallen back to side, tail between their legs.
Kind of interesting there, seeing CritJ's playing with Light Flash still enabled. Obviously, you can play with Dark Flashes now.
Isn't it client-side setting?
Yeah, it is, but...
So that would mean that it's what our observer is set to.
I saw his face cam light up, so it was definitely Light Flash. As I was looking at his face cam.
That's so funny.
I don't know if there's a competitive advantage one way or the other, I think. I definitely play on Dark Flash, so I don't go blind.
Azuki should be dead here. No way. He does go down. I thought he was going to survive that for a brief moment. That's the kill that JackeyWoo needed. Is he going to be able to get away without CritJ catching him? Oh, the timing is awkward. Why are you continuing to peek that JackeyWoo? That is extremely ballsy, especially going up against CritJ.
Yeah, I mean, get back to side and get your keepers activated. If he had died there, it would have been actually quite a big loss. So.
He's still peeking.
Yeah, he still has 2 keepers in the pocket. Either way though, minute 30 to go in the round. Both teams still poised in pretty good positions. Double hard breach trail from Fury, very aggressive from JackeyWoo. Back again. Exothermic going down alongside the util from Habana. There's Xkaros getting to work. So kitchen hatch now opened up. I wonder what kind of... Yeah, I wonder what kind of impact you're going to go for in the face of these keepers, because it definitely establishes more power positions to play.
Yeah, we don't have explosives on this roster at all. Anything to clear these keepers, anything to clear the global shield. I honestly don't think Fury have got what it takes to crack open this position. I think the only choice is to go for Church here.
I guess maybe if they can cross for an Ash Wall, but it looks like they will open triple. The Grim util, in my eyes, is going to be really critical, and BG is deploying that now.
This is very aggressive from the mirror. I9, he's right around this corner. He trusts Lycolis to cover him. He wants to bait Scarlet into an overpeak here. The flash goes out. Scarlet withstands it. A second flash will catch him, though. Need to see the swing from Fury. I9 goes in for another flash, but I9 goes down. We need this trade to come through quickly, and it does. And immediately the pickup onto I9, but it's just these 2 players here for Fury left alive as the rest of them have fallen. I9's got to cover now, and Hyunjin takes him down. This should be easy round ender. Lycolis cannot stick that plant, and Rival looking very solid on that basement defense.
Yeah, they butchered that clear of Scarlet a little bit there. I think there was that pocket of opportunity to have cleared him. It may have come down to Scarlet actually repositioning really well, despite being blind. Of course, we as the observers or the spectators were also seeing white, so it's kind of hard to tell what was going on. And maybe that's what Fury was seeing inside of the server as well. And so actually locating him and getting that kill was easier said than done. Had they have had that path opened up a little bit sooner, they didn't have to worry about the down. Maybe they could have gone for that plant a little bit earlier on. And it could have changed the complexion of the round a little bit. But there are other parts of that attack that also did break down simultaneously. So credit to Rival. Still having 3 players up so late in the piece, full HP. Put them in really good stead. And as we mentioned before as well, Fury did limit themselves with win cons because they had back explosives. So maybe that proving to be a little bit costly as well. Rival continuing their defensive efforts now over towards Gym Bedroom, and yeah, that Azami is going to persist as a popular pick.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds to go.
Only 1 round to tie this one up. Very doable.
Attackers must locate and defuse the
Fury has shown us little, but not enough on this attack to convince me yet. You know, I thought this was going to be a tight game, but I thought that Fury were going to win it, and it wasn't really going to be that much of a conversation. A respectfully tight game, but respectfully clear that Fury had won it, and that hasn't been the story as of yet. However, we see the Monty make the first appearance that we've seen from it in this entire series. It was banned in map 1, and there's a very good reason why everyone seems to ban it against Fury.
Yeah, honestly, I should call myself out for not mentioning the lack of Monty so far. I guess my brain just automatically defaulted to thinking it was actually panned out, whereas it was, of course, the Blitz. Monty specifically utilized the garage plays over towards CCTV and Cash, but you can find value from it as well here for the clear across over towards Gym Bedroom. You can apply really good pressure in towards Cash and then lock down Pon. I mean, move Mark forward into Logi as well because it is a rather linear push. So there'll be a bit of pressure on the defense. Triple Nitro available. You don't typically see a ton of vert play, but we could see a pivot here from the defense once they spot that Monty. Oh
wow, that's
there we go.
Almost completely dismantled Fury. Gotta say, Lycola's lucky to be alive, though. We need to see chip damage now from Rival. They should expect him to be low on the back of that. However, C4 not to follow up. I don't know where Hinjin is in his position to come and support. Meanwhile, the Fire attempts to clear out this position, but we need something more from Fury here. This is just a bit of a standstill.
Ended on the clock. Fury are getting stalled out. Like Coles eventually, I think, needs to try and get active here on the monster. They're actually going to send the Capitao in first. This is an act of desperation. They do get one, but the follow-up doesn't quite land. They finally send it forward. The Death Ball does eventually land onto Songba. But a 3 versus 2.
Yeah, look, we have 3 flashes on I9, 1 flash on BG. Azuki's low. I'm on the cope here, Guzzle, but I reckon this is winnable.
No, it's not.
Okay, watch them do it. Watch them right now.
Yeah.
Jackie Wu's flashed. No, Jackie
spotted.
Taken down. Azuki's still low HP. I9 good for his entry. BG Man to follow suit, but both players have vacated the precinct. They're not on site anymore. And they don't have information as well. There's no BPCs. Finally, there is one in gym, apparently, but this plant should be able to be locked down. This can't be denied from below. It's safe as well, thanks to the Keeper barrier. I9 taken down, and Azuki will fall into place on the site with the final 2 kills. Big from Rival, but damn, did that get close.
Nah, I think that's pretty...
Shut up. Shut up.
That's pretty one-sided.
Shut up.
That's pretty...
That's
pretty one-sided. I mean, to be fair, like, that was a ballsy strat of Rival to completely vacate site like that because it really took the Nitro cell out of the game because of the Bricks plant location. We did see like the lob attempt, but it was shot out. Azuki, they primed and ready, just caught a good timing there on the swing and able to find 2. So really good work from him. Lil Fury's attacks here on Club, much like that bleed game, proved costly once more. It hasn't quite looked near as bad as they did in that match, to be fair, but still some issues arising. Like Horse got completely stalled out there on Monty, and being reliant on Crit Jade marching forward and finding that entry was always a long shot of a play. Then again, some of that util on site making it quite challenging, and Azuki, that's great position. The attack had a very good read. Rival showing some good stuff here on Club again. On defense on those primary sites. We'll see though if the tertiary holds up.
Attackers have discovered the location.
When are we going to see Bar, guys? When? When is a team in this region going to have the cojones to go Bar? That's what I want to see. That's what I'm waiting for. What's statistically the worst bomb site in the game? I don't care. Did you hear Onigiri? He doesn't care about statistics. He does not care. He will keep going to kitchen, and you will keep pulling your hair out. And Chad Onigiri is going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, they did it today again, and it actually worked again.
2 for 2, right?
I don't know. That man's insane. Yeah, we haven't seen Bar once in Asia so far this league, or this stage. It's only been played 3 times globally, I think, more than played in the world. Yeah. The only sites that have been played less are the 4 sites on Oregon, and we know that's because Oregon is not looking at the map.
Damn. That's wise. Alright. Nice opening from Hinjin. Aggressive as well. Through that mirror window, we are going to see the breach come off. That's a very awkward breach, though. I mean, that mirror is still open, and that's a vaultable rotate into the breach. So there's actually not a great start here from Fury. That is one of the most disgusting ways for the wall to be open that I can possibly imagine.
Impact out.
Impact's in play. Unfortunately, Impact's now doing significantly less damage. Don't know how effective that tool is really going to be. It takes a little bit of health off I9, but not much to dissuade him from this position. Still a big onus on I9, getting value here. Keep the barrier to stall it out. Dark has the Flame Bolt in hand, ready to go. And this moment of the round will pretty much make or break it for the attack. If they go for it now, they don't quite yet. As Dark gets distracted, in a good way, gets a kill. Now a pallet of utility to follow.
Okay, Nade comes in. That could be pivotal. Injin surviving for a little bit longer. There's the player spotted. Not finished off for Solar. We need to see this Monty start marching on up, and I9 does. He might have to try and take this one. He's feeling some pressure. The 2 players on rafters and 1 down below. He needs the support from Critchay here, and that impact is going to take I9 a little bit lower as well. Desperate now. Critchay needs to land his shots. Good pre-fire. The first one for him, but the near side, he gets the second regardless of the Dread Mine. Massive round from Critchay. 15 kills in this game as Fury are about to edge ahead.
3 versus 2, but can Fury take that final lead? Flash to come through. Azuki seeing White doesn't have Nitro in hand and is in face of the Monty in a 1 versus 3. Forced back as I9 can harass him. There's surely nothing Azuki can do from this particular position. Plant will be confirmed, and so too the round for Fury.
Wowee, what a show-up moment from Critchay. He was really needed there, and despite being in an unfavored fight, despite having 2 players at rafters, the pre-fire onto the first one, the Dread Mine goes off, and he can only see about 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters in front of him, and he still wins that fight onto the next player. A massive credit to the Monty as well. I9 was very supportive, but someone's got to get the kills, and Critchay did it. Massive round from Fury, and that could be, indeed, Guz, the moment that this game turns.
Yeah, certainly so. But it is the tertiary. I'm actually quite intrigued to see how this side's been holding up in Asia. I feel like it actually hasn't been all that bad, so I'll wait for that that number to load up. But yeah, from Fury, good clear. They got a lot more value from the Monty in that round compared to the round prior where it fell apart on the clash on the cache clear. Yeah, as for that site, CCTV and cache in Asia, it has been played 18 times, and yeah, I was actually right. 72% in favor of defense, which is by far and away the most defend-decided map. Defend-decided site, rather, on this particular map, which comes as a surprise. So good work from Fury in being able to break that down.
5 seconds to go. Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Basement, now we're talking. Very different situation down here for Rival. It looked pretty convincing on this bomb site last time around. Even though Fury essentially won that roam game, right, guys? Like, Rival just had an absolute lockdown on site. I wouldn't be surprised if Rival decide to actually roam less this time, because they have so much confidence in their site position. Now, I guess the only thing we've got going for Fury is that, yeah, you've got the Ash now, so you have a little bit more high breach. And you got the Ossa with the intention of dropping down that kitchen hatch while protected. But again, I think that you need more to counter this as army, especially when Rival like to play quite passively in that late round, play off their positions. You got C4s for Plantanol. That's really where Fury are going to have a headache.
Yeah, only seeing limited explosives again here for the attack. The 2 frag grenades from Osa are great, and sure you have S charges, but I would anticipate that they'll be prioritized on the mirror. So outside of maybe the using Habana to counter Ebers, but that comes to field supply. Again, that could be a difference maker in the round if Rival are able to play around that utility correctly. I wonder if those Talon shields are going to set up a play similar to what we see from Bleed, where they send it down main into Arsenal and go for that plan and cover it from long. Maybe they'll steal that strat for this particular.
Well, they stole the mirror strat from Bleed already, so.
Hey, you may as well. Look, you may as well imitate from the best. I don't think that's to be frowned upon. Still, though, looking to just set things up at the moment.
Kitchen hatch open pretty quickly as well, even though there are 2 impacts in pocket for Azuki, so I don't know whether it's deliberate that he's saving them or not, but they will actually come into really high value in that late round with the Osa up. So I'm not sure if intentional or if Azuki's just forgotten about impact tricking, but he may end up benefiting from keeping that utility in pocket. No Osa at bot main as of yet. C4 comes over the top, dodged. I9 just takes a bit of damage. 40 seconds to play. And here comes the Osa. Looking the wrong direction, though. Now Rival know full well what the jig is on site. Scarlet finds his shot into Critche. That's the pivotal player to take down as well. And Azuki joins the fray. Here comes the aggression, though, from Scarlet, but he loses his life. Lycolis might have just salvaged this for Fury. Still impacts available for Azuki. The first one goes out, the second one misses. Cover needs to come through from I9. And he gets one. But there's low HP on both of these Fury players. And Azuki and Hinjin just need to time this well. The C4 is still up for Hinjin. And Lycolis has got to stick his plant now. I9 prone, passively covering the C4, comes through last second. I9 somehow finds the kill while un-ADSing. The round is won by Rival regardless, and we are tied 5 rounds apiece.
I feel like we could spend the next 20 minutes breaking down that round. What the frick was that? That was insane. Well, they did ultimately go for the bleed strat, right? I did anticipate it, and we saw it with double Talon shields, then a bombardment of explosive utility, not from the attack to clear keep the barriers. It was in fact the defense encountering the Talon shields. We had the impacts, but still one Talon shield standing, and then the clutch Nitro at the very end. Man, I would not have wanted to be playing Lycolis' role in this round. Just getting absolutely bombarded with utility, players rushing forward, getting a lot of trust in your teammates to help cover that. And there was just nothing they could do to deny that final Nitro style. Really well placed. And ultimately round winning for Rival.
It's funny. Again, I don't know whether Azuki knew that there was an Osa and deliberately kept his impacts in pocket the entire round. But it ended up coming up clutch. I mean, yes, it was the Nitro that technically won it, but certainly keeping that other Talon shield intact would have helped a little bit. Regardless, Fury, well, they're close, but they're not close enough. Yeah, I'm thinking that, guys. I'm trying not to jinx it, but it's at the back of my mind. Technically,
honestly, I'm starting to believe.
Technically, my theory would still stand if it's an 8-6, because my theory is just that Fury are 2 rounds better than Rival, right? 8-6 is still 2 rounds
that's
better.
true. Yeah.
So we could be on the money here, guys. I don't want to get too excited as of yet.
Well, Rival do have defense PT, so important to note. You would have to win their initial attack in OT if it doesn't go to overtime. See how round 11 shapes up then after a very chaotic round number 10 on basement. Back to the top 4. Maverick and Ace. The initial clear CCTV, that doesn't pose too many problems for the attack. We may see again another bandit trick attempt on Jacuzzi. Rival, to their credit on attack, did an amazing job in countering that. So we'll see what Fury cook up. One Mav line at the bottom, just to dissuade that blitz from returning, and BG Man can then look to trick the top. So no funny games from the attack this time around, but it will be effective.
BG Man knows what he's doing there. C4 from Hinjin opens up the rest of that soft wall. Here comes the execute here on the top red. Now this was really where Fury stalled out last time around, and this time it will do much better. Good that the Warden was the first to go down as well. The only player that can peek through those smokes. Critche, man, he's really making this M249 look viable here as every Rival player slinks back to sight, tail between their legs. I9 catches Jackie Wu downstairs as well. That's devastating for Rival.
"60 seconds then on the clock. Surely from here, Fury will be able to convert. You know that Azuki, though, can be a real clutch factor for Rival, but he needs to step up now.
Oh, massive kill from Azuki. Clean headshot. 1 kill separates these two teams from being even. Rival have been forced back. There's another one. We're even again. And Scarlet's somehow going to double down. The guy who was incredibly quiet on map 1 has now brought this back into a favorable position, but he gets traded. And this is where Fury have to collapse together. Azuki is down, all up to Hinjin, the overswing and the read. BG Man punches the air, and Fury are just 1 round away from a semi-final.
1 round away. And 1 round away from getting your prediction right, James, which would be a little bit infuriating, but also pretty cool. See if they can get the job done, though. It's going to be a double down from Rival, Gym and Bedroom for round number 12. As we look back at the 11th, Crit J able to march his way forward. Top road clear, it was clean. Azuki only able to pluck one before the fall off. Did come down to somewhat close 2 versus 2, but if you're just trading it out, they look pretty pumped up at the moment, but still very much locked in.
Well, one last chance now for Rival. Push us to OT. Now, map 1 was overtime, 8-6 on Nighthaven. A map where, on paper, I think Fury should have been heavily favored. Rival brought us the distance. And here on Clubhouse, we kind of said the same thing, right? Like, this should be Fury's map to lose. And Rival are just so close to the edge. It has been a phenomenal season so far for them. To go that extra distance against Fury would mean a lot. I have no clue what would be going through their heads right now. I expect a lot of pressure. I mean, in map 1, guys, especially in the first half, when they were 3-0 up, it was all smiles on the face cams. Very much game face now.
Yeah. So the Maverick over with CCTV wall. Doesn't catch the timing. Once again, Fury are going to open up this wall uncontested. We don't see the Bandit at all here from Rival. So what role may that play? Although given that Fury have shown they're pretty willing to Maverick these walls, and they also have double heartbeat, so Bandit probably would have been particularly effective outside of a misplay.
Just noticed that almost everyone from Fury actually rotated off and away from that breach before they opened it up. They're not looking to clear Cash and top red this time around. They're completely ignoring it. What are Fury playing at?
Yeah, I'm just trying to soak it all in, try to decipher exactly what the play will be here for the attack. Bloody drop potential, I suppose. Yeah, they have the flashes, but they're just going to go dry.
Yeah, this is everything that Fury needed, just to send it. An opening pick, and then immediately the double drop. They found another one, Azuki on the ground. It's all up to Songlar in the 1v3. He finds his first, but there's a mountain to climb, and Dark comes back for the backstab. Fury have done it. It's been a hell of a stage for these guys to deal with the tribulations of the best of 1 phase, but now they're in the playoffs and they are back. They go flawless 2-0 over Rival, and they have a date with their good friends Bleed in the semi-finals.
Yeah, solid performance this evening from Fury, and able to find an extra gear towards the pointy end. Still though, questions to be had as to whether or not the siege they show tonight will be enough to take down Bleed.
Yeah, and guys, just to check, what was the scoreline in the end? What was that?
Fury got 7 rounds because they won the game.
Yeah,
Rival
yeah,
got...
and
what's half of 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Was it? So it was a 7-5. You're telling me it was a 7-5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks, guys. That's all I needed from you.
Okay,
Jake and Rob will bring you guys back in. Look, I am going to gloat a little bit. Apparently, Fury are indeed 2 rounds better than Rival on Clubhouse.
Just narrowly enough. Look, still, I've got to admit, I'm very impressed from Rival Esports. I don't think that you can really take anything away from them. They come into this season with only 1 player who has ever had experience at this level, and they shine throughout. You know, they do well in best of 1s. Granted, the end of their stage wasn't overly fantastic, but they come into best of 3s and they look competitive against Fury. So you've really got to hold your head high if you're Rival at this point. Jake, am I inflating them a little too much, or do you back them?
Yes and no. I mean, there's certainly a large portion of that I agree with. I think if you kind of look at the whole body of work, Rob, I can absolutely get behind that. The entire stage, you know, they came in, there was, you know, probably little to no expectations. And look, honestly, while when you go back and look at the stats, they finished 5th, they won 3, lost 4, minus round differential, but they were really good signs, and they were competitive even in the games in which that they lost. And I guess you could almost say the same in this best of 3. You know, an 8-6 into a 7-5 is ultra competitive as you can get from a 2-0. So, look, I think it's the kind of team that they can certainly continue to improve and grow. We spoke to Jackie Wu a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying it was the most fun that he had kind of been having on a roster and on a team, and I think you could certainly get that vibe. So, look, I don't know what's happened to Azuki, though. He had the best 3 play days I've ever seen, and then he's definitely cooled off. And maybe then going into next year, we'll temper our expectations, which just means everyone else has to kind of find ways to improve.
Look, speaking of tampering expectations a little bit there, Dev, we've seen real lows from Fury this stage, but this game in particular, I think they needed to show their grit. They had to get, for me, they had to get this done 2-0. Didn't matter if it was overly messy to go into tomorrow's part of the conversation against Bleed with any hope whatsoever.
Yeah, look, and Fury, yes, they had a really rough slog, particularly because it was 4 games in a row that they lost, but just to recontextualize, like, losing to Bleed, that happens. That's not unusual for this squad. Losing to NoCap, also strangely not unusual for Fury as well. So the main 2 red flags, the only real hiccups where I see Fury as being like decisively worse than in the past is 1, losing to Rival, obviously the worst situation that happened in the round robin phase, and also losing to Elevate because in stage 1 they did actually smash Elevate. But now you think about it, like Fury actually ended up 4th on the standings, so only below Elevate, Bleed, and NoCap, and they've decisively, or reasonably decisively, won their quarterfinal. I think that they can be reasonably happy with themselves. Like, considering where they were, I think they've brought themselves back into a much more respectful place, and if they can get a map off of Bleed in that next game next week, then honestly, power to them. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a competitive series.
Well, I guess that's probably left the discussion for next week. I don't want to dive too deeply into it, but obviously, you know, coming out of their quarterfinal 2-0, it's a close game in both maps, but they still get it done. It does start to give you a little bit of hope, Jake, but the hope, I mean, is the hope cope?
Well, what? Fury?
Fury.
Going into Bleed? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think... How can you argue Fury over Bleed right now? The only thing you could certainly argue if you wanted to get on the cope is that they do kind of play to their opponent a little bit, Fury. They can play up to Bleed, and I think Bleed also, you know, for their sake, for whatever reason, Fury's like the team that challenges them the most. For a team that went undefeated, Rob, the closest game all stage was actually against Fury, who were struggling throughout the regular season. So if you wanted to find a good old, you know, bottle of cope, well, there you go. Fury Bleed in a semi-final is also, you know, a lot of lore in that matchup.
There certainly is, and we're looking forward to that one. Not as much as I'm looking forward to this interview. Let's welcome in Lycolis for yet another interview. Lycolis, congratulations on your win. Look, this one was a little bit closer than I think most might have thought, but I want to get your gauge. How did the best of 3 series feel? I know it's only 2 maps, but it was close matches all the way.
How it feel like? I got no idea, but I feel really like confident in like what we need to do and what in each round. I think it's like giving us more like, you know, not much pressure that we can't lose a single map. So in the best of 3, I think we kind of like have more space to play with our creativity while in the round. Yeah.
Lycolis, last time we spoke, we kind of spoke about going into best of 3s and how that's a positive for Fury and for your team, and I guess we could see that again today. The games were competitive though. Rival, there wasn't much of a separation. So from that perspective, knowing that you've now got to find Bleed, does that kind of give you the confidence that says, oh, we've actually still got a little bit of work to do here going into a matchup like Bleed, because these guys were pretty close when it just kind of got over the line. So what do you go and do now to prepare for the Bleed matchup, knowing you've got to find more improvement?
Yeah, of course. I think the only program we have right now is like some of like, you know, strategy during the round is kind of like we kind of like going like shut down when something went wrong in the early, and then we kind of went back to our like how usually we play. So that's actually like a point that we need to frequently use like a couple of days before going up against Bleed, because Bleed one like giving us like enough time to like, you know, reset our game during the game. Yeah. So that's our like main issue here in a couple of days.
So obviously we have very high expectations of you guys, but it's starting to have been quite a while since you went to your last international event. How do you feel about the trajectory of the team as a whole at the moment? Do you feel like you're climbing? Do you feel like you're at a bit of a plateau? Do you think that you are able to get back to the heights and qualify for one of these majors again?
I believe we can able to like qualify back to like what we were last year before. But yeah, of course it's gonna be like tough, you know, like when we practice, like everything seemed good, but during the day, everything like, you know, not going as we expected. So of course we have to like keep like improving ourselves during the track and in game as well. So I hope in this couple of days we could prove that we can fix this problem.
Like, Hollis, you mentioned there that like things are going well in practice, but not in the server. And I don't mean to kind of pry an answer out of you. If you don't want to, you can say no comment. But is it something to do with the emotions in the game when you're in the server and competing for, obviously, you know, like a league, or once we get into playoffs, single elimination, you lose a game and you're gone? Is it the emotional stress? Is there things just not clicking mechanically or strategically with the team? Can you give us any insight?
I think it's both. It's both like in the during the game day and emotional as well. Because I believe, like, I don't know about the other team, but I believe our team, you know, during game day and practice day, I believe we were like more confident in practice in some of the area in the map than in the competitive. We are aiming to fix, dude. We want to, you know, play practice just like in the comp. That's our main issue right now.
Yeah. Well, look, I wish you the best of luck in connecting that. We're going to need to see it as you go up against Bleed next week. That's a huge game. We're all looking forward to it. But we'll leave you with any final comments. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, we're probably going to say us next week anyway.
That's what I like to hear.
I love it.
Well said, Lyko.
The confidence. He doesn't miss. Lykolis, thank you very much, mate. And we wish you all the best against Bleed.
See you next week.
See you.
That's some, I tell you what, that's some ice in the veins.
That's baller.
Isn't it?
He doesn't look confident. He doesn't sound confident. But those words, they're fighting words.
That was ice in the veins. That's all I'm saying. Zen, what do you think about Lykolis's interview?
That was good. I mean, he's like, oh, it's going to be a hard game. I don't know if we'll see you next week. That's probably not the right way to go about it. You've got to be confident. You've got to back yourself in. So, yeah, no, well said, well spoken. And I think that, again, the takeaway for them is going to be there's still a little bit of work to do, which fortunately they've got a couple of days to go back to the drawing board. And obviously I think the rival game was a little too close, even though they're two older. I would have liked to see a bit more separation and kind of confidence going into that Bleed series. But yeah, I think Bleed would have been kind of sitting back thinking, yeah, we got these guys. So for Fury, back to work for the next couple of days and see if they can pull something crazy out. I don't think we'll see Clubhouse because Bleed is just way too good on that map. So they'll have to also go into the map pool and find something else.
Where would you go if you're Fury? Where are you going against Bleed? Maybe Lair?
Yeah. Well, it's a two-parter because it depends. Have you got another map that maybe they aren't aware of that you've been workshopping on so that you could catch them by surprise? Or is there a map that Bleed have as a weakness, you know? So could be one or the other.
Let's have a look back at how these games have panned out. Of course, 2 quarterfinals have been played now, and funnily enough, they have pretty much gone the way that you would have expected. The 2 teams on the upper side of the ladder for both games, No Cap sitting 3rd overall, Fury sitting 4th. They win their games 2-0. Unfortunately, Direwolves, look, I feel as though, Dev, there are some positives for both of the teams that lost today. Direwolves maybe less so. Maybe it just clearly divides a line in the sand, but Rival definitely had their moments and hopeful for the future.
Yeah, I would agree. I think both of these teams are hopeful for the future. For me, it just hinges on for Direwolves finding some roster changes. I just want to see 1 or 2 roster changes to bring a little bit of life back into it. I think they're still adjusting to the changes that they made from last stage, and yeah, I think they just need to get another fragger in there and Harambe out. Love Harambe, but I think that's probably what needs to happen. And they can definitely come back and make a bit of a reprisal. As for Rival, I really like what I'm seeing out of this team. I think that they can continue to keep growing. I'm not saying that they're going to be beating Fury or making majors anytime soon, but they'll certainly be able to fight the top echelon in this region before too long, especially once they get some more experience in BO3s. But yeah, No Cap and Fury taking the wins. Great day to be a fan of esports teams from Thailand.
Yeah, look, All I'm going to say, love the boys from Thailand, by the way. Both teams have always been, they got a true place in my heart. But I genuinely, I'm just on the rival coat for next year so much. I'd love to see them get a coach under their belt and bring in some like serious experience. I think that could really start to change that roster for the better. But let's have a look at the bracket, as we've only got 2 more games for the semi-final before we obviously get to the grand final. I don't worry about the 3rd and 5th place matches. Maybe I'm being a little bit rude. Yeah. Of course, we've still got Direwolves and Rival to play each other. I think that one might be done off stream though, unless I am tripping. No, I am tripping. That will be done.
I think we're doing that one on stream.
Yeah, that will be done next Tuesday. I do absolutely forget.
You know what?
Oh, tell me.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it because it is a revenge chance for Rival. I think probably most of us on the cast would agree that today Rival played better in their match against Fury than Direwolves did against NoCap.
Agreed.
But of course, in that matchup when these teams two played each other in the regular stage, Direwolves won, and I think Rival have an opportunity for revenge.
Yeah, well, it's always, you've always got to find the positive, James. And here's another positive: they'll win $6,000 USD. That is, if they do end up beating them. Just one best of 3, one measly little best of 3. You can win $6K.
Mate, that's
USD.
like $1 million in Southeast Asia.
What? Okay, hang on. Why are we sitting here in Australia right now doing this? I think 6,000 USD equates to like $1 in Australian terms right now. But let's not go into politics here. There's no Parker around. We're not going into it. I just want to talk to you, Jake, Xenox, and Diddy, about these semi-finals for a second. I want to level with you. All right, we're going into these. In the quarterfinals, the best seed won. So 3rd and 4th seed wins. Now we go into what is probably going to be an Elevate and Bleed heavily favored game. Do you think that trend is just going to continue?
Look, it may. It's very difficult to, run that kind of gauntlet. We don't typically see teams from, so outside the top 2 kind of then go on and make that grand final. Historically, Bleed, Fury kind of dominate those positions. So it's going to take something special. But Fury have been there before. We know that they're usually a top 2 team. It just so happens they go up against Bleed. Ends up being a grudge match to some degree because there's that history when it comes to all these grand finals these 2 teams have played. But now in a semi-final, Elevate, NoCap, another grudge match when it's like, the old Elevate roster versus the new Elevate roster. So storylines, I think, on both of these best of 3s, which is really going to set us up nicely. Yeah. And then the 5th place match, Rob, to go for the trifecta, is all Direwolves players on Rival versus, Direwolves. So we've got really the 3 matchups that there's so much storylining that at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to have a bad game at all. When is it? Next week? I almost said tomorrow.
Next Tuesday,
next week?
I think it's next Tuesday.
Yeah, just double checking there. Next Tuesday for us, of course. Keep up to date with everything and make sure you come watch because it's going to be an absolute banging night of Siege.
This is why Jake Xenox and Diddy gets paid the big bucks. This is why, he's...
But not play-by-play caster of the year award.
No. We don't
go that far.
Jake,
we don't go that far.
That's silly. That's silly. You cannot possibly cast the greatest game there's ever been in Rainbow Six and be one of the best play-by-play casters.
There were 2 other people there, Rob. There were 2 other people there to carry. One of them got nominated. The other one didn't.
Yeah, the other one's Australian as well. So
sometimes casters get nominated, and other times they do not.
They do that. It has been said. It's been said that that's the way it goes. Do you have any final comments before we close out tonight's show?
No, just to echo what Jake said, like the 3 games that we have on Tuesday are actually all absolute bangers. All are like grudge matches with story. I personally, and funnily enough, most excited for NoCap versus Elevate because I think that NoCap have a real shot at winning that. And yeah, every time that we see those teams play each other, it goes 3 maps. And NoCap's been within 1 round of beating them in BO3s in the past. Fury's been within 2 rounds of beating Bleed. The last 2 times they played each other in BO3s. So yeah, just give me the bloody games already.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 9 mapper on Tuesday. So you may as well set up a tent and prepare for a very long night. It's going to be one of those. But thank you very much for joining us here for the opening for the playoffs for the Asia League. We'll be back next week with more action. So please, as always, take care, stay safe, and good night.